those little things make it all worthwhile. Once a month, so if you'd like to know where to see me play, please sign up. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hyote. You're getting the greatest hits, best of the best of the best, but you're welcome to return in other ways and come back.
Thank you.
As people do. You don't have to die to even come back in your own skin tonight. So clearly, later on maybe. Who'd like to go next? We have Allyson from the Feminist Poetry Festival. We have Teresa from the Austin Rise Relay. We have Jackie Mills from Salado, and we have a very, very strict rule that whenever people want to come up, they come on up. That's the rule, but you can break it if you like. So who'd like to? People look at each other. We also have Jacob from Capital Metro. Who knows their poems on the bus of Capital Metro? Well, this is a man who's instrumental, very modest man, but in making sure that a whole lot of poets were heard. Come on up, Jacob, tell them all about it. Capital Metro, poet, other people's poetry.
Jacob Brown, ambassador from another time. Community, as I understand it, the older I get, has a great deal to do with honoring other people. And so what I've chosen to do this evening, and putting some things together even before I was asked, was to put together a series of short poems about the people who put the Poetry with Wheels project. There are now 400 buses in Austin that have poems on them. Some of them have 2, and bus 2371 has has all of them. We had a contest last summer, and invited people to send in, and then we chose the winners, and each winner got 40 poems, took their poem and put on 40 and sent 40 different buses throughout the city. I responded to that call because Elzy stood up and said, well, right here he is, poetry please. Many think poetry word fluff. Some know better. Letters transport inner power, expressions subtle or dynamic. Put them on wheels, please. He speaks poetry, please. In multiple places and to many faces, he cries out, poetry, please. Poetry with Wheels, that same APS president envisioned, called out poetry, please. Barbara C., Gloria A., Monty J., Marjo and Pete S. and Ron Menez stood up. Our invitations sent plans, meetings, decisions. Bus placards began to roll. Months, 18. Placards, $900. 10,000. Poems, 410. Buses, 400. And groups that gathered 6. Through life preservers to writers and readers, amidst the flood of their ads all around. Poetry placard designs. He said, can you create placards? She said, I can create placards, complement them with shapes and color, highlight the poet's word vision, understatement hers. She lifted, caressed, and gold leafed. Yet poetry spoke first. Professional artist extraordinaire, Christine Gilbert Designs, gracias. And then the Capital Metro trio that we worked with, Kevin, Erica, Ed, wholly committed to art in motion, invited Poetry with Wheels, put poems on buses, Austin Poetry Society on rolling stages, gave poets voice, Reader's Choice Thoughts, created a poetry bus, all poems on board, Poetry with Wheels, art in motion, Austin, Art of City, another trio to honor. And then to the printer they went. Circa Jack was our printer. Circa Jack bleeds. He bleeds and thinks ink. Took APS Vision, Capital Metro's plans, Christine's designs and our poets' expressions, pressed them all in format, made them live and sing and stain the reader's minds. Circa Jack bleeds ink daily. And then Elzy called the treasurer. So this one is treasure. President calls, signature required, approval sought. Full Monty. A little inside joke there. His name is Monty Jones. And then, paid for and rolling, a grateful reader responded to our placards. Everyday rise and eager, not always. Needs a lift some mornings. I read Rising at 6 a.m. on bus 320 South. Art in Motion, Poetry with Wheels, Capital Metro, Austin Poetry Society. A bus filled, uplifting. Even in the PM, crescent moon shines. Colors, images, ink, designs, join. Writer, transformed, chauffeured, gracias. And I would close what I have to read here in the beginning with this. Someone who is familiar to you. TWWP, Thomas Woodruff World Poet. To honor him, associations. He speaks and writes and lives in associations. Wordplay with meaning even beyond his understanding. Making connections past corpuscle to corpuscle, hand to hand, mind to mind, tribe to tribe, even planet to planet. Dare he believe his associations, his metaphors, alphabetics, and poetry play? Join universe to universe? He did, he does, he will. May it always be so.
I rise for a postscript to what Pete said. Pete gave credit to a lot of people who worked on getting poetry on the buses. This is my poem. Storyteller talks to Austin. Pete Siebert, who like Thom wears pseudonyms well, agreed to do the job of leading a committee to get poems on the buses. No one knew him, but no one else offered to do the job. And he did it, graciously negotiating with a massive corporation and a committee he never met before, and poets citywide who submitted 410 poems for the buses. Now, thanks to Pete, if you want to read a poem, you just need to get on any bus in Austin.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much. So I'm being updated right now, and I think Lina and Zal went first, and then we had Hyote, right? And then we had Pete, and then Elzy. Did you do your poetry yet? No. For that? Okay, I think. Okay, I'm Anyah Deshawn, and I represent Osmic City, Austin, Texas. And we have Osmic City, Austin. Well, we have Osmic City Cafe in Dripping Springs. We have a lot of events going on now, and this is to promote peace through cultural arts and education. So we've been doing a lot with the music venue and the poetry venues and trying to cover that, and we have a TV show called Osmic City, Austin, Texas TV. And that's where you'll see most of these poets promoted in musicians, local musicians. That's my plug for Osmic City, Austin, Texas TV. And so if you could hold your hand up in the order that you came in, I wasn't here in the beginning. So we have Teresa here.
I did raise my hand.
And
Okay.
Elzy?
Yeah.
Allyson? Allison's here.
You're
And
taking roles. I thought school was up. Yeah, you do it summertime.
So there's some people that are not here right now. Melanie Rose is in the kitchen right now. Okay, sorry for this adjustment right now. So if you don't mind, we will ask for Elzy and Teresa and Allyson. I think those are the ones that are here right now, and I'll try to round up some of the others that might be in the kitchen. So Elzy, if you would like to come and make a presentation, and please talk a little bit about APS and present that. Yeah, thank you so much.
There's a tendency to get off in a corner and write your poetry. isolation is a historical thing with poets. Poets go off and do their work by themselves, then they bring it forth. What poets do in general is they experience life and then they rearrange it to hand it out to other people. That's actually what everybody does. I've been president of Austin Poetry Society for 3 years, and I have bowed out, and Bronwyn Shumway has agreed to continue with the Austin Poetry Society. It's a 62 or 3 year old organization which has served poets well and poorly over that period of time, has done many different things, started the Poetry with Wheels project, among others, and holds meetings monthly, has a critique group that meets monthly, has an open mic that meets monthly, and attempts to get poetry out to a lot of people. And I think that's a very worthwhile thing. It's also a community. But this community kind of seeps into the rest of the city. We started out with 35 members 7 or 8 years ago. We have, last year we rose to 180. We're aiming for 1,000. We have a mailing list of somewhere around 1,500 Austin poets. Poetry is not a small game in Austin, it's a big game. There are lots of poets here and lots of poetry, and that means Austin is far wealthier than a lot of bigger cities that don't have this. If you want to join the Austin Poetry Society, I have forms you can take and mail in. Right now we're collecting sponsors for our annual contest, which happened in May. This May we gave out over $2,400 in prizes to poets for wonderful poetry, which we showed on a movie-sized screen and read. Poetry by a lot of people, including 3 second graders. And we love doing that kind of thing. There's much more that could be done that we haven't even thought about, but things that need to be done, like we need to have a program like Usha Akela's program she had in Connecticut, where poets went into nursing homes and read to people and taught people to write their own poetry. We could be doing that. It takes somebody willing to do the work. I could talk all night and you would love it, I'm sure, but instead I'm going to read you a couple of poems and sit down. Christine Gilbert is the person who did the artwork on all of the poetry on the buses, and she's done a splendid job, and I hope someday you will find an opportunity to get on bus number 2371, which is the poetry bus, and it contains all of the poems that are scattered out all over town. I won a couple of contests, and I want to read this one because it's short and because it tells you that you can win contests with this kind of message. It was a contest sponsored by the Alabama State Poetry Society, And the specifications were a poem about death by ... fill in the blank. And my poem is titled Death by Humiliation. And it has an epigram from Matthew. The greatest among you will be your servant. All who exalt themselves will be humbled, and all who humble themselves will be exalted. In the poem. And all who declare for themselves early dividends to avoid taxes will be required to remove their expensive suit and walk down the middle of Wall Street in their skivvies wearing a banner. Occupy your mind, pay teachers more. This is a poem that took a third place in the Columbine Poets Society of Colorado Award. It's named A Blizzard Outside the Brooklyn Museum. In the Brooklyn Museum, I meander through thousands of years of unthreatening creativity. I am surprised when a security guard announces the museum is closing because of the blizzard. I never saw a blizzard back home. I hardly saw snow at all. Loved it as a fine excuse for missing school. I pick up my backpack, last art lover to leave. Like a beast Rousseau could not have imagined, a white Bengal tiger swipes the breath from my face with icy claws. Never again will I complain about those sweet Texas northers I have known. Some uniformed angel carved a one-lane path through 4 feet of snow from museum to subway. Yet I doubt I'm going to get there. In seconds, my eyes want to freeze. I lean into a choking wind, stumble through 100 New York City feet. If I could make it here, I must be crazy.
Okay, thank you, Elzy. You also have a newsletter that you publish online, and it's a wonderful newsletter. It's a very, I think, a great community tool because we all keep connected. We kind of are updated on what people are doing. And I really think poets should be acknowledged because it's not just that they are poets. A lot of them are community leaders. And so some of the events and things that they plan, it reaches out, as he said, into the community. And it really, it shows how the community really works together, and it goes into the city and other cities. And so I'm just really excited that all of the poetry venue hosts, a lot of them are here tonight. We have Teresa Robertson, who is author of Austin Writers Roulette, and I'm going to let Teresa come up and announce about her event, and it's at a new location and we love it. It's going to celebrate the anniversary, first year anniversary, July the 14th, yeah. And so I gotta get the dates right here. So this is great. We celebrated the Osmic City Cafe first anniversary last month. So we're having anniversaries pop up. 1 year, 15 years. Austin Baha'i Center has actually been in operation for 15 years. This center has hosted poetry for 15 years. So let's give a hand. Thom is behind the door, but for everyone else. And we are very grateful for the Austin Baha'i Center. This is a wonderful place. And Teresa.
Thank you. Let's see if I can arrange this. It was funny because I'm not really a beer drinker. I'm a wine drinker. And earlier today, I went to a brewery pub. What was it called? Like a tour. There we go. It's a brewery. I mean, all people do is set up a gazebo and drink, right? So the tour is after the fact. But I joined Meetup because that's another great community builder. And it was so funny because it was the first time I had met up with this group of people, and one guy kept remarking, there is something about you. You have a presence. Wow, what is that? Blah, blah, blah. And so it's really funny because I like being organized, hence I'm an organizer. And what they did, and I kind of laughed because I thought, this is not the way I would organize this. And I was just thinking of all the ways I could redo it. And it's like, Teresa, you don't like beer. Why are you thinking like this? And so they had us line up to get bracelets and to buy our glasses. And I told the woman, I want the pretty glass. You know, we got there at 12 just so we can get a good, you know, spot with the gazebo and blah, blah, blah. And I told her, I want the pretty glass. And so she sold me the pretty glass. And then I walked off and I thought, why isn't anyone else following me? Oh, we'll sell you the glass now, but we don't actually serve beer until 1:45. And I thought, I got a glass, I got an armband, and you're saying I can't? And that's why they stopped giving people glasses, because they wanted the line to queue there and not like everybody with an empty glass ready to have their beer. And I see these people walking in and I said, some of them have beer. Why do they get beer and why we can't get beer? Amen. Think about it. I am not a beer drinker. I just don't like illogical things. And they said, well, if you're a VIP, you can go ahead of the line and get your first beer. And I thought, I'm always a VIP. I mean, in my mind, I'm a very important person. So I walked up, and I said, because the only beer I can even tolerate are the really fruity, girly beers that most beer drinkers wouldn't consider beer. And I said, hi, which one of these are the fruitiest? And I saw that there were 6 choices. And they thought about it, and they're like, well, it's this or this. I said, well, can I just taste some of that? And so I put it in my glass. I tasted it. And the guy said, are you with the band? I said, I look like I should be, right? I'll have some of that. Yeah, go ahead. And he said, you didn't answer my question. I said, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. My name is Teresa. And then I always carry these around in my purse. And I said, I'm the organizer of the Austin Writers Roulette. It's a monthly spoken word and poetry event. And we're having our upcoming event this Sunday, 14th, Personal Triumph. And it's our 1st year anniversary. Gave him a card, gave the guy beside him a card. He filled my beer. I walked out. And I thought, I don't know why people bother to lie. Just walk in, wherever you are, act like you should be there, act like they should do what you want them to do, and boom, the old Jedi trick works. So that's my story, and this is from a woman who doesn't like beer. And I am going to write that, by the way. That is my blog piece for tomorrow. I blog every Sunday, so thank you for letting me test that out on you guys first. And I did that all while, and apparently I was really attractive or something, because this guy's like, you've got this presence, you got this thing. Well, from my perspective, I got a menstruating ear because I ruptured that's basically what it is. And you know, it's like, well, I'm not going to stick a tampon in my ear, but if you've never ruptured an eardrum, it's not a trivial thing. The pain radiates across your whole head, the side of you're like, it feels like your teeth hurt. And all I wanted to do is curl up in a ball. But this happened on July 14th, and I thought, to hell with this ruptured eardrum thing. I have plans, right? So after medicinal mixing of red wine and ibuprofen, I went to bed, of course, because you can't do anything else after mixing alcohol and drugs, but, you know, pass out somewhere, and I might as well be home, which I was already there. But then the drugs were off, except for the ibuprofen. I guess that was the red wine making me feel drowsy. And then I went ahead and I got ready to go to my tango class, just like I planned. I went to a barbecue afterwards, just like I planned. And so this piece, which I'd like to read for you guys, is called A Circle Has No Corners. And it basically is the message of nothing in life should ever block you from doing what you want to do. Okay. Recently at a party held for capoeiras, a Brazilian martial art form, I overheard one of our capoeira instructors giving advice to someone who was new to the practice. The instructor explained that each player must travel around the roda, which is Portuguese for circle, without stopping, or else he or she will become an unmoving target. Since capoeira is played inside a circle of people, mostly other capoeistras, who are singing, clapping, and playing instruments, the two capoeistras must outwit and outmaneuver each other within that space. One of the newbie's problems was that he kept getting pushed outwards toward the edge of the circle and crouching down like a trapped animal. The instructor burst out with a brilliant, wise smile and told him, "A circle has no corners." The immediate lesson of that advice is that when playing capoeira, you should never be trapped, since you can always find a way out of the situation. I love the mathematical correctness of the logic. Just a few nights after the party, when I faced another bout of insomnia, that expression returned to my sleep-deprived mind. Within life, there are many circles, from the small circle of my morning routine to the big circle of human development, passing through stages from newborn to elderly. Even the irritating circles of my behavior where I wind up in the same dead-end places after seemingly doing things differently. Insomnia is one such place. Despite popular belief, I work out at least 5 times a week, not merely to stay in shape, but to sleep well at night. I've never resorted to using sleeping pills, pretty much for the same reason I've never drank coffee to wake up. I figure if there's something challenging my sleep-wake cycle, another circle, then I need to change some aspect of my life. A circle has no corners. What a beautiful analogy. My mind filled with life's challenges that had me along the sides of the circle. I thought through what maneuvers I needed to do to return to the center. I'd be lying if I said that I had the solution come to me in a flash, but I fell asleep and stayed asleep until my alarm went off. Refreshed, I daydreamed about some different directions I could take in my life, especially writing. A few hours after being at work, 2 writing opportunities came to me via email. One I dismissed after further investigation, but the other I pounced on. Just like when playing capoeira, sometimes you faint, other times you follow through. As long as you keep moving or making progress, then you will never be trapped. A circle can enlarge or shrink. You can be inside the circle, part of it, or an outsider. Just like a capoeistra can maneuver her way toward the center of the roda, you also do not need to surrender to the marginalizing mechanisms in life. The corners only exist in your mind. Thank you.
Well, 5 times a week workout. I'd like to show you what my workout 5 times a week is. Get up from the bed, walk down the hall. That's walking, right? That's walking. I go to the computer, I bend over to sit down. That's squatting. Okay. I reach and do the computer work and roll my head. That's the neck roll. After a little while, I push away from the computer. That's push-ups. And then I squat again to raise up. And I walk to the bathroom, another squat. Back up. And then I go to the kitchen to get some coffee. And there we have the arm exercises. And then I walk back to the computer, another walking. I squat again and sit down in the chair. And then I do the arm exercises and the neck roll. At least 5 times a week. 24 hours a week. So anyway, thank you, Teresa. That was great. Okay, and so we are really happy to announce Allyson Whipple, who is also the originator of the Austin Feminist Poetry Festival. And she'll talk a little bit about that. And she was featured at Metal and Lace. At the same time I was there and Poet on Watch. It was great to have 3 different diverse women and diverse poetry, being read that night. It was great, and it was wonderful being up there with y'all. Thank you.
Allyson Whipple.
Thank you. Yes, this year we had the brand new Austin Feminist Poetry Festival in May. It was really just an amazing turnout for our first year. I was thrilled with how well it went. A real community event. I had the help of volunteer readers, volunteer workshop leaders who just were willing to do it just because they believed in the organization. I had the help of Susan Post-it Bookwoman, Deborah Weingarten, Barbara Gregg, Catherine Oldmixon at Houston Tillotson, who got us space for free. So a lot of really dynamic poets and poetry supporters from the Austin community were very instrumental in making that happen. Right now we're working toward getting our 501c3 worked out and working out the dates for the next festival. We decided spring. There's already so many poetry things that happen in spring that we're going to shoot for a fall event for 2014. We're planning to announce that next month, the official date for 2014, and deciding the future of the organization, looking to make it more than an annual event, making it more of an ongoing collective. So there should be some more announcements sometime within 4 to 6 weeks about what's happening with that. And I don't write a lot about community, but I've decided that the poems I read tonight are all going to be poems that have been dedicated to other people who have inspired me to write, who have inspired my words, because that is the way I'm going to honor my community, not just of poets, but of outside friends and influences. So the first one is going to be, it is called Traversing Houston by Bus. I wrote it for my dance partner, and it is actually not about dancing, but it is about the first time, and it's a very ambivalent poem, but I love Texas, and I also feel that love and ambivalence also often go hand in hand. I was on a bus in Houston with my dance partner, and this was the first time I really felt at home in Texas, not just in Austin. So this is Traversing Houston by Bus for John Burroughs. Squares are the only geometry that made sense to me. Graph paper, the only part of math class I liked. Wasting time filling in the spaces with pencil. Going darker and darker, making welts on the other side of the page. Creating designs rather than correct answers. Maybe if I hadn't been so intent on filling in the blanks, if I had paid attention to circles and ovals, to circumference, I wouldn't be so disoriented here, wouldn't get so dizzy. Maybe if I had been receptive to soft lines and curves, I wouldn't be so dependent on right angles for navigation. Maybe I'd be able to make sense of the pulse, the unstructured sky, the arterial overpasses. This city loops around a spoke of veined highways, overlapping asphalt, and a cracking concrete center, which I pass over, under, around, through, again and again, unable to find the heart. This I wrote for my friend Teresa, who endured a long ongoing struggle with cancer, and I quit reading this after she died, but then I read it last month for her birthday, and it's part of my chapbook, and so I'm bringing it out of retirement. Cancer, second time around for Risa Brown. 1. No remission. When the rage at the unjust universe has cooled, when the fear of losing you has unpacked and settled in my mind, when all the unanswered questions take their place in line and wait, then I'm ashamed I wouldn't have your will to live if I was the one in that bed. 2. Treatment. You're spending your summer vacation trapped with the chronic smell of antiseptic, having fiery infusions poured into your veins, ripping apart your stomach, esophagus, intestines, burning your skin from the inside out to destroy the rogue cells eating your bones, crushing your spine. 3. Flightless bird. Hope is the luxury, the down pillows, the pate with the champagne, the peace of mind I'll never be rich enough to buy. Even all the miracles of science, power to restore vision, build prosthetic limbs, even with its godlike capabilities, the fact that there are willing converts, open hearts, minds, potentiality. I'm too poor in spirit to think you'll ever rise from your bed, stretch your arms, take off toward the sun with vitality, your birthright. 4. Driving to the hospital. I pass neighbors who drop weak napalm onto their lawns. The novices will leave charred swaths on their tiny landscapes. The ordained will create a lush, flawless bed, even in drought. Runoff seeps into the water, flushes through our organs, settles into our skin, silent, invisible, tasteless. 4. Facing death. The first time I met death, I was too young to know the difference between her and all the other adults in the room. The second time I met death, the pain drained out all the memory of everyone there. But this time she won't shake my hand. She lurks in your shadow, unable to make up her mind, unable to decide what to do with you. She won't look me in the eye. I can't tell if she's afraid of what I will do to her if she takes you, or if she's simply ashamed of herself. This one is dedicated to my husband, but it's not dedicated to my husband because I know a writer who's superstitious, and every time he puts a dedication on paper, he breaks up with the person he dedicates it to. So it's blank. But this is called Lived In. The dust is so thick I can barely see outside. My wife never cleans, neither do I. Good to each other, bad to apartments. Our home is not a temple, it's a storage space for two lives that never always quite intersect, that run parallel. The cleaning supplies have gone rancid. Visitors try to read the mess like tea leaves, try to break a code they cannot understand. Cleanliness in the house means chaos in the heart. This is how tension gets dispersed. In scattered papers, flecks of dirt, mold that revolts in the kitchen and conspires with mildew in the bathroom. There's no time for the mess. When we finally have hours alone, we shove the piles out of our path, let them carpet the stained floor, become restored in each other's arms.
Thank you so much. That is wonderful. I forgot to say that one of the other exercises that I do is I have a new cat, and his tail is so long that I can hold it like a leash, and he has it straight up. And so I have to chase him because he gets in the way, so I have to figure out and I have to run down the hall with him. So that's another exercise there. And then rolling the eyes, you're reading on the internet, you go, oh God. That's another one. Okay, and so we have now with us all the way from Salado, Jackie Mills with Salado Legends, and the Table Rock Poetry Festival is here. She's sponsored many Table Rock Poetry events. We had one this past February the 7th, and it was Mermaid Tales, and so it was about the Mermaid Anthology, or the Anthology for Serena. There were 3 students that were selected as first and second and third prize winners, and so that was wonderful to have them present at this and be one of the main features. We just finished the video. She doesn't know that. I just finished the video of it, and so we'll be able to feature them in the Osmic City, Austin, Texas TV, and it's a 45-minute video that you'll be able to take tonight that has selected poets and things. So we have Salado even being featured right now. She has an event coming up in July 27th, I believe, 2013. And so we welcome Jackie Mills from Salado.
I'm not used to being in front of the audience. I'm usually backstage. I write children's plays and books, and I wrote Salado Legends, which is an outdoor musical drama that we have in Salado. This year it's in the 21st year of production, and you're all invited to come and be present when we have, on the 27th, when we have poetry night. And we'll have the school children there who will be presented with their awards. Not only are they published every year, but they get a monetary award too. They don't get much. The first prize winner gets $100, and the second one $75, and the third person gets $25. Well, a few years ago, the teacher told me that the little boy that got $100 says, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. I'm going to be a poet. I said, Lord, tell him that he'll never, that's the most he'll ever get for a poet. And so to please think that over carefully. But we do enjoy working at Table Rock. We enjoy working with the children. For 11 years, I helped the children in the 4th grade write their own plays. And then I teach them how to manage, backstage manager, how to direct the play, costuming, makeup. I even took the kids that said they didn't want to be in the play and said, all right, then you're going to be in the concession stand. So I took them to they thought they were getting out easy. Yeah. And I took them to the store and I said, okay, how many loaves of bread are we going to need? How many loaves? How many slices are in the loaf? Now pick up the lunch meat. How many slices of ham are in that package? They had to use their math. And they told the next class, don't take concessions. Take them to the grocery store and make you count. So we had, for 11 years, we had just wonderful, wonderful plays. They usually made about $2,000 for their high school trip, or they could use it however they wanted to when they were seniors. So they were learning and making money at the same time. We had, and I always made them write a story about the history of Salado. And the State Historical Society found out about it, and so they attended one of the plays. And they were really impressed that the kids could actually, 4th graders could write such a play and do all the research. But they were wonderful. When I first said that I was going to do that, I went to the principal and he said, oh yes, please do. And I went to the teachers and they said, oh, 4th graders can't do that. I said, yes, they can. And sometimes we wouldn't have a place to meet and write. We've been in closets, writing on a drum. We've been outside, sitting on a bench when it was cold. Just anywhere we could. And they still wrote those stories. They still did their research. Go home and do their research. So we've always worked with the children in the community, in the high school now, and in the elementary school before, and the middle school is clamoring, what are you going to do for us? And does anybody have any idea? I don't know what to do for them. But for 5 years, we've had cat tales, and all of the poems have been about cats. Now, this is our outreach program at Table Rock. And when we wrote about the cats, it was to help the veterinarian in town who does, I don't know how many times he takes pets that people bring in that have been run over. cats that need to be spayed, and he doesn't charge anything for this. So this was to help pay, Cattails was, to help pay for the many good deeds that he had done throughout the years. And we had them for sale in the vet's office, so they could be sold there and then in stores around town. Now this year, it came to our attention that, how many of you have been to Salado? All right, good, good. So you know that we have a mermaid in the creek there, in Salado Creek. It wasn't that she just appeared. We have a sculptor who lives in town who 27 years ago, well, no, I guess it must have been 29 years ago, the thought that he had in mind when he saw Salado Creek was, this is the place that my grandmother was telling me about. And for years, she had told him the legend of Serena. Now, the legend of Serena is an Indian folklore, Indian legend. And Troy is part Indian. His grandmother told the actual legend. And it was about the mermaid that appeared in, I'm not going to tell you the whole story because I want you to come to the play on the 27th, and that legend I have incorporated into the play. So I won't tell you the whole story, but I'll tell you about Troy Kelly, who sculpted her. He came to Salado as a very poor artist, aren't we all? And he sculpted Serena, put her in the creek at his own cost, and he didn't have enough money, actually, to have her sent to a foundry to be cast. Well, she was cast, but not to go through the process of the bronzing process. So that was very expensive. And so instead of doing that, very creative, he thought, I can do that. He went to a friend of his that lives in Salado, who has the biggest junkyard you've ever seen in your life. And when I go in there, Lonnie knows I want something. He says, don't pick anything up that you want that's real high. I can't get it. Pick something low to the ground. But he has things that are marvelous for all kinds of plays. So Troy went over to Lonnie's, and there he found that Lonnie had bought all of the old water meters that Belton, Texas, had discarded. And in the material that's in a water meter are the same kind of materials that are needed for bronzing. So he and Lonnie melted down all these water meters to cast Serena. Well, there were some materials in there that he did not need that are not good for bronzing too, but he had no way to separate those. So he went ahead and he cast Serena, and she's lasted for 26, almost 27 years now. But now every time she gets rolled down the creek, when we have a storm or a flood, a finger comes off. She has a scar where her arm has come off. A tree hit her in the head, knocked her head off one time. And we find her, 25 feet down the creek. And Troy very diligently would haul her back up, and Troy mends her and set her back on a rock, and she's ready to go again. It's gotten to be Salado's icon. It's the first thing that people think about when they write a story about, a magazine writes a story about Salado. And in many, many, many of the books and magazines that you receive, you'll find an article, past article or present article, about Serena in the creek. But the last time there was a flood, I think it was 2 years ago, Serena was really in bad shape, and Troy said, I can't put her back in. She's just not in good enough shape. And then we had a scare. They found a salamander in the creek, and so the state stepped in, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife stepped in, and everything would probably come to a halt, and nothing could be done about putting Serena back in the creek if they had declared that the salamander was an endangered species. So Troy said, I've got to put her back in because we have to have a precedence. So Troy and many of the men in town put Serena back in the creek. And then it started. We've got to replace her. She is our icon. We must replace her. So that's the reason we changed cattails to mermaid tails this year. And this is something that all the money derived from this anthology will go toward that. And then also I wrote a play, and we had a play about a month ago to help raise money. And out of the $10,000 that we need to raise to have Serena sent to a foundry this time, we have all but about $500. And I've written a grant, and so I think we'll get that from the Tourism Commission this, the 9th. Gosh, that's Tuesday. So anyway, that's what Mermaid Tales are about. We received so many of you donated poems, and I'm so thankful that you did. It's really touching with some, and Troy was, well, I think a lot of you got to meet Troy in February when you were there. Troy and his wife came to the meeting, and he's just a real down-to-earth, gracious person.
And so, Jackie, you have a poem in there. Would you like to read the poem that you wrote?
I'm not good, no.
Yeah, let's hear a poem from you. Yeah, I can't remember what page it is, but I know.
The kids' poems were really good. The three high school kids that were there, their poems were real good. Well, here's one. Okay, the eternal question. Did the catfish plan to deceive when he told Serena she'd receive the love of the brave she believed would answer all of her prayers? What consequences to our decisions enter our minds in time for revision when the heat of the moment envisions what we want most in the world? Did good and evil exist in the beginning, each questing, battling for winning your favor, your soul, or your sinning? Why is mankind given free will? What mortals entreat us with this story? What morals entreat us with this story as we search, seek, and scout in forays of life's eternal and constant mores that Serena failed to heed? I see she's got the hook.
That's a new one I've got. She's got it. Instead of the look, I have the hook. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jackie, for coming all the way here. Thank you, thank you. And the book is beautiful. The art, the watercolor is very beautiful. We were able to incorporate that into the video, and so it's going to be airing on Osmic City, Austin, Texas TV, and that's Channel 11, Public Access TV. And it is at between 7 and 7:30. It's a 30-minute show, and there's no telling who you'll see on that. I do have the lineups for the poets, and there's literally over 200 poets that will be featured, within this year on it. So I'm really excited about that. It's very diverse. It's very good. Now then, we have Joe Brundage, and a lot of you know him as Element 615, and he is the Austin International Poetry Festival director from 2013 and now 2014. So let's give a great big hand for Joe, or Element 615. He also participates at Kick Butt Coffee, right?
Yes.
Still. Okay, so talk a little bit about both of those, AIPF and Kick Butt Coffee.
Clap if you're sitting next to someone beautiful. even if you're by yourself, you always got your shadow, so you always got a reason to clap. Let me see here. So yes, I am one of the 3 hosts of Spoken and Heard, held every Sunday at Kick Butt Coffee from 7 to 10. We have a very strict policy. Bring words, make noise, bring yourself, make friends. Just pretty much show up, whether or not you get on the stage, as long as you're there, it's really all that matters. Up with people, as they say. I am also directing the festival for 2014, so please pray for me.
Incantations, your favorite?
Incantations, any invisibility cloaks would be nice. They would be nice. I do want to, on a less than lighter note, I do need to announce that I'm going to be, for reasons regarding family, I'm going to be taking a bit of a pause from the general poetry scene itself to defer to family matters. And as of July the 21st, I will be hosting my last Sunday at Spoken and Heard and handing the show over to my co-hosts. It will not be a goodbye, it'll just be simply a hello to something else. And I ask that you continue. If you've been to the show, if you haven't yet, just go ahead and check it out and give my co-host a hug in my absence when I do go. And if you're not doing anything on the 21st, come by and hang out, and there'll be free hugs if you like that, if you're into that. Non-creepy hugs. just really, I don't really need to give examples, because everybody who's laughed has had a non-creepy hug in their life, so we're not about that life. Okay, so this one is a poem I wrote when I was under the synonym Alfred Noyes. This is a poem that I wrote as Alfred Noyes some 100 years ago. Total lie, not just playing. This is one of the first poems I read when I was a kid, and I remember the day I read it in elementary school. It literally had me laughing in school that day, all the way until I went to sleep. I was laughing at the dinner table, much to the chagrin of my parents, and I think I laughed a little bit more when I woke up. This is called Daddy Fell Into the Pond. Everyone grumbled. The sky was gray. We had nothing to do and nothing to say. We were near the end of a dismal day, and there seemed to be nothing beyond. Then Pattie fell into the pond, and everyone's face grew merry and bright, and Timothy danced for sheer delight. Give me the camera, quick, oh quick, he's crawling out of the duckweed, click. Then the gardener suddenly slapped his knee and doubled up, shaking silently, and all the ducks quacked as if they were daft, and it sounded as if even the old drake laughed. Oh, there was not a thing that did not respond when Daddy fell into the pond. Okay, this is one of my poems. I actually did write this one. Okay. So if it's not good, blame it on Alfred Noyes. No, don't. He was a nice guy. Don't blame it on him. I promise you that you may claim this armor from my dead body and no sooner. I've begged for God to close this heart. Get rid of the weight so that I can finally move. I'm no longer convinced that love is elevation, just a diversion. You know, like a sugar-coated subversion meant to cause you pause and nothing more. I've become tired of buying lies. That's why you don't see me in the store anymore. I spend my nights in mourning of a time when I cherished my days. There is no solace in the feel of the sun on my skin. Even as I breathe, I asphyxiate. Suffocating in the oxygen, I have wasted away in starvation with my belly full. I have endured long-term injuries from the effects of improper emotional allocation, i.e. the misreciprocation of affection resulting in an addiction to addition, and I can no longer succumb. No longer numb to all these shadow obligations. It's better to die a lonely man as opposed to taking up the wrong hand, so effective immediately. I hereby tender my resignation to love. This heart, uninhabitable. Structurally unsound, so there will no longer be any vacancy. So to those of you who love your charity cases, leave me be. Quit looking. Because to be honest, you don't even find one attractive, just cute. Code for too scared to go for what you really want. I say leave me in the rummage. I need not the half-hearted, self-serving attempts to salvage this savage into something you could possibly manage to like. I need to sever the malignant tumor that is my self-pity and finally adhere to some purpose. I'm convinced that anyone who wants in only wants to turn you out and walk away with what they wanted, leaving my house haunted with the ghost of who I thought you were. Again, I don't doubt love. I just rarely see it occur. And I have neither the time or the patience to slay one's dragons, chase one's unicorns, leave all of the needles in the haystacks. I'm not grabbing that brass ring with you, whoever you are, wherever you are, but I do wish you well. Won't tell you love ain't heaven, but I will make note that it and hell got the same number of letters, and I should have known better. Ignored all the representatives, crescent-shaped harbingers, feeding you hope-flavored hindrance with a slight bit of deliverance, impossible to hold them responsible, as you don't get to be a victim after that first bite. Can't blame them if I accepted the invite. Laid back for the long kiss goodnight that left me a dead man walking, so thank you, but no thank you. Keep walking. What I want is not waiting in someone else's hands. I bear no hatred towards women, and no, I do not want a man. I won't tell you not to love. Just right now, I'm not a fan. You see, what I want, I want. I don't expect you to understand. After all, your comprehension is not on my list of demands, so please, return to your vessel. Hoist your anchor. Set sail and, leave me be. Here on my shore. I can see so very clearly, having pulled the wool away. Now cognizant of all the windmills that I once chose to slay. What dreams I've had have left me, and all of them gone to stay. I decided I'd write you another love poem, and then I realized I have nothing to say. Clap if you're sitting next to someone beautiful.
Well, that's a nice thing. If you don't have someone sitting next to you, you can clap for yourself, right? Okay, thank you so much. And I think it was announced at the very beginning that there is also entertainment going on in the kitchen area. And so feel free to go back and forth. And Melanie, Rose, and Brian from Hot Mamas, they're going to be coming up next, and she'll talk a little bit about Hot Mamas. And Melanie, it was wonderful. Children of the Wheel is my favorite song that she did the last time that she was here, and I think that was, in January. And so we welcome Melanie, Rose, and Brian.
Hi. Thanks so much for having us. I'm not actually hosting Hot Mamas anymore, as of a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's kind of strange because it's like the first time in about 13 years I haven't been hosting a weekly thing, doing the children's show and Rita Maya for many years and Hot Mamas the last few years. So it's an interesting feeling, you know, because it's like giving me some time, but it's really odd. It's so odd. But then I see someone that I was in a poetry group with about 15 years ago, And it just totally makes me remember that it all is kind of a full circle, so. Okay, good. I wanna go back to the shelf to reclaim so many parts that are lost in myself. Luckily, they are not so hard to find when you access certain parts of your mind. It is the moment to wake up, awakenings quaking the whole world as we know it is being shaken up. We've got the luck of living in this day, seeing the city streets in also an old new way. Mass realization, self-realization, baby, it is time, 'cause bound together, we are connected, mentally intersected across the 7 seas. Physical and metaphysical gatherings, in such gratitude for all of these, taking time to hear the rustling of the leaves from the breeze flowing through the crepe myrtle trees, singing please and thank you for everything I receive. And perceiving a notion that across the ocean someone else is perceiving synchronistically. And at the same time we begin to rhyme. Our stories, they parallel the words they begin to tell, spelling out the horrific details of hell that befell our friends and families, heartache and disease. But these are heartaches of every family. What can we learn from this total lack of respect of ourselves and each other, and what can we expect? Every man and woman is a star, and we should be honored in what we are, instead of crawling over each other like stepping stones to claw our way up to the cookie jar. If you abuse to reach that jar, the glory of achievement ends. And those cookies don't taste so sweet, they taste better when you share with friends. We are here to hold each other up, not to break each other's backs. We lose sight of what really needs to be brought down, what really needs to be attacked. There's a lack of compassion due to distraction, no time to unwind, constantly clogged, muddled mind. And when you finally find your center, your true alignment, you'll find that accepted ways of life are what lead us to soul confinement, rotting ourselves from the inside out, 'cause we doubt that we might know what life is all about. But you and only you have the capacity to listen to your own true will and know what's best for yourself when it comes to the issues of your health. Much too often we freely give choice away to conventional thinking, giving others the final say. Fear keeps us from hearing what's screaming from inside, but forfeiting intuition gets you taken for a ride. They say, come in, relax, don't stress, give us your responsibility, we'll handle the rest. And while that sounds great at the time, it seals your fate, because to date, when has anybody ever truly used their own freedom without lifting a finger up to participate? Even tight lids are meant to be broken, and truth is still truth when it remains unspoken. And just because something's common, don't mean you gotta buy in to determine what is right. Look within, look within. Said look within. Y'all, this is Brian Salvador Curley on the guitar. Do you want us to do that song, or is there time for it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll do. So at Hot Mama's reading, I had been kind of incorporating more of the chants that you would learn at rainbow gatherings and places like that. But this is one that some local friends of mine actually wrote in that kind of vein. Oh yeah, I love that drum. I've always loved that kind of drum. They just sound so great. Oh, what's in here?
Her son's dirty clothes.
They're clean.
Her son's clean.
Backups.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
Gotta have backups.
That's where those clothes went.
Okay, I wasn't even planning that, I swear. Rain and water form from the mist. They know no boundaries, they simply exist. Light and darkness, no separation. We know no time for we are in a meditation. Wind and air circle everywhere. We are a family of each, we are aware. Lightning flashes, fire in the sky, electrical vibrations connecting I and I. Wood and stone, we are not alone, no, no, no. We are not separate from this earth which we call home. Season after season, we help each other heal. Father sky protect us, we are children of the wheel. Children of the wheel, we are children of the wheel. Father sky protect us, we are children of the wheel. Rain and water form from the mist. They know no boundaries, they simply exist. Light and darkness, oh no separation. We know no time for we are in a meditation. Wind and air circle everywhere. We are a family of each, we are aware. Lightning flashes, fire in the sky, electrical vibrations connecting I and I. Wood and stone, we are not alone, no, no, no. We are not separate from this earth which we call home. Season after season, we help our mother heal. Father sky protect us, we are children of the wheel. Children of the wheel, we are children of the wheel. Father sky protect us, we are children of the wheel. Children of the wheel, we are children of the wheel. Father sky protect us, we are children of the wheel. And just one quick aside about that, I recently, this year, came back to a thing called Camp Indigo that I used to volunteer for, and it's the 13th year of it, and this year I came back and ran the kitchen and got to bring my kid. And it was cool because we used to use those songs at the camp to like sing together, and they're actually using some of them still, like as their traditional thing they do to get in a circle, and they're just like, yeah, let's stay. So, that one's a little bit complicated, but a lot of them are a lot shorter that you can teach real easily and stuff to kids. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie and Brian. And so we have up next Scott and Vanya. And Scott hosts the Full English Cafe, and that's on Saturday evening. So Scott will announce what it is on Saturday with the Full English Poetry Cafe and share with us his improv. What is it? Improv poetry?
Yeah.
He's the improv king here, along with Thom.
Yeah. Who do you think I got it from?
Oh, I know. Let's give a hand for Scott.
Let's tend to business first. Business is Thom gave me some CDs for Expressions February 2013, Poetic Allies. Some of you have not got yours yet. So I'm going to leave these over here. Y'all can pick it up. He said people that don't remember the faces, Patricia Fisk, they are Herman Nelson, Patricia Fisk, Catherine Lane, Ralph Hauser, Sarah Hedgecraft, Linda Gordon, Stubb Bailey Scheisser, I hope I said that right, Jack Godjes, Garrison, Mark, PJ, and PJ the Rainbow Poet. So if you haven't got it yet, they're over here. One of my initiatives right now is a website. I'm going to talk a little business, then I'll do something creative. But it's a website called Open Mics Austin, where, like you see, I'm recording today. This will go up in a day or two to an internet site called Open Mics Austin. I'll hand these to you, Linda, to pass out. The videos go up of the shows, and then audio files go up of the shows, so you can see and hear the next day or later on what y'all have done, what everybody else has done. It's an archive of roughly 20-something, 25-something shows and growing every time I go to an open mic. There are also playlists for artists. Like Melanie may have a song up there. There's a playlist for Melanie. There's a playlist for Mike D. There's a playlist for me, Thom, etc. where you can click on, you can listen to all their songs. I remember the day when I was a kid where I would lay on the floor and listen to Shakespeare and not do anything else. So my fantasy is people will lay on the couch and tune into live poetry, and that's what they'll tune into, and they'll hear what's live. That being said, you'll get a flyer with the web address to it. I need volunteers right now to clip people's shows to mark in time. There's an interface for it where you click a button and it says where you're listening. And then you click another button and it makes a page of internet links. And then you send me the page and I know where all your poems are. And then I can post that in your playlist. So I'm trying to empower the users to actually make playlists of them for themselves. I also need biographies from everybody, so you're more than just a name. And then I need people to cover shows. So if anybody wants to be a correspondent, I can introduce them to Google Drive and we can post their files, and then I'll get the files and then we'll broaden. So far I posted it to the internet last night. I'm looking for sister cities. So now the Globe has the ability to know that they could be Montreal, they could be Bangkok, they could be Paris. So more open mics will have this ability because I can now replicate the process. That being said, let me speak on community. I probably don't know, I mean really like in here, know any more than any of you why we're here. We received a call or an email that said, come. It happened to be somebody from somebody we deeply respect, so we came to hear, to listen, to share our ideas of community. When we're young and in the sandbox, the community extends as far as the sand goes, and there are those who will reach outside the box and put it in their mouth. But that's the limit of our community. We get to middle school, and our community may be a t-ball team, or our 6th grade class. In high school, we had football, drama, our circles, our cliques. In all of those communities, the common factor has been you and you and you. And me. We've reached a time where the community is bigger than this room. It's bigger than this city. In truth, were I to go to Afghanistan or Iraq or North Korea, the faces I saw would be my brothers, my sisters, my friends, my loved ones. There will be no time when you leave this planet, except perhaps to dig your body into it. This place, this beautiful blue earth is our home. There are no walls there. perhaps forests and lakes and streams and oceans. The planet is a single whole family. And everyone is my brother, everyone is my sister, everyone is my mother, everyone is my lover. This is not where the world ends. I have an eye that sees many things. It sees the limbs above my head. It sees the flowers. And that is not where my feet end. If we could, as poets and human beings, open our hands and let everyone see who we are, what a beautiful world it could be. What a beautiful world. That's on the heavier side. Now let me try to do something on the lighter side. It's funny when you do what I do and what Thom does. You spend a lot of your time going, "Where's this next one going to come from?" And the fun part is to know it doesn't come from really anywhere. But there are certain things that appeal to me. The hell with the sides. The Serengeti. Just let that sit for a moment. A plain more golden than any piece of currency you could imagine. Yellow grass blowing. The sound of crickets and grasshoppers. The wind. Sunlight so hot you can hear it sizzling in the dirt. And we sit. I have looked out of the eyes of that creature and not known who I was. Do you know who you are in that plane? Do you see yourself as a lion or a zebra or a chimpanzee or a wildebeest? It's a wide open space. And I know I don't really come from anywhere. Hi, Steph. I don't really come from anywhere. But to calm ourselves, because days can get so tricky. They can get so tricky. Let it be the Serengeti plain. As dusk comes in that hot golden field, and the light takes its time slowly from blue to orange to red to violet. And as the sun dips over the cusp into that land which may never come back from, the moon comes out, and it's full and round and cool. It's a wide open land. I pray it be someplace you can enjoy yourself when you need to. Thank you.
I've always wondered how he does that. Yeah. It's just like, hello. So I need to practice, certified in Hatha yoga, believe it or not, and I could not do that. Okay, so thank you, Scott. And now we have LindaMarie Casa, who is the hostess for New World Deli. LindaMarie Casa, thank you. And it is the fourth Thursdays.
Linda's going to announce it. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, I'm going to start out with a couple poems about poetry. This first one is called Ode on Intimations of Poetry Regulations. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All adverse side effects must be stated on the back of every poem created. Heretofore with thou art not to read poems while operating heavy machinery. No galloping allowed may cause serious walkie jabbers of foot and mouth. Heretofore with thou art not to listen to poems while reading fictional Prozac may cause quirky vision and nonsense wheezing attacks. Heretofore with thou art obsessive. In case of overdose rhyming, contact Dr. Elzy immediately before dying. Ingredients in this poem construction were brought to you by Smarty Pants Productions, and no animals or Miltonic sonnets were beaten or harmed in the making of this poem here. 2-4 with thou art. Red doesn't happen very often. Why is that so? I just had to know. I knocked on the door of 80 poets, hunting for the word red. I read 200 poems, and this is what 11 poets have said about that word red. I wore my heart like a wet red stain and took the red vitals of his heart. A red fox stain covers Blue Hill, and tulips are too red, they hurt me. Shout at them, get red in the face, rise. The red floor of my alley is a special speech to me. So much depends on a red wheelbarrow. The west red in its branchy leafless nest I know, a bright red sloop in the harbor, by sea-girls wreathed with red and brown. And oh, of course, oh my love's like a red rose. And this one's called Eavesdropping on 11 Dead Poets. Of course, T.S. Eliot's women come and go. It all depends on William's red wheelbarrow. Raging against the dull and dying light, a frost in the woods, lovely, dark, and deep, out of the ashes I arise with my red Sylvia hair and eat men like air. Oh, but it troubles Ezra's sleep, and E.E. sang it's did and danced its did, so Carl's fog comes in on little cat feet and dry up like a Langston raisin in the sun as Edna's candle burns at both ends. News is give. Gas smells awful. Dorothy says, you might as well live. This poem is called God is Losing His Religion. It's a sacrilegious decision. It's a scandal. It's a revision. God is losing his religion. From bad seed, religion grew fundamentally. And to revine strangled life right out of the tree. God is losing his religion. No need to fight or stage a bloody sacrifice, for God has rediscovered his one true lover. God is sleeping with sweet spirituality. There is nothing lost but gain, born again today, as tree of life has been nurture seeded, soul saved. For God has rediscovered his one true lover. And this is called Warning from the Women of Lemuria. It's a bit of a fairy tale. Lemuria, Lemuria, lightning, thunder, tremors and quake, great waters burst from Mother Earth, Moonstone, and Lady of the Lake, lives with raw natural tendency toward volcanic energy. Containing the fire on her hearth, she forges her art from the heart. Then there came a time when her heart was divided, her head on fire, flight or fight, frequency screaming, sudden shock, violence out there. Repeated raping births despair. Creation's harmony derailed by dark force, devil detailed. Cold iron age destroyer warriors. Premonition was right on course. Stop war on women, war on earth. Release from this self-imposed curse. Thus spoke the Lady of the Lake. With her shapeshifter branch in hand, she dropped the mountains to the sea. Stunned invaders drowned on the land. Purified, reincarnating. The Lady of the Lake served them quick karma, creativity. Land and sea changes seen in dream. Elemental is the primal. Spirit of life has no rival. Allows only love to reach her. Fire, air, water, earth, and ethers. Lightning, thunder, tremors, and quake. Great waters burst from Mother Earth. Moonstone and Lady of the Lake. Lemuria, Lemuria.
Oh.
And this is a poem called Dream Painting, My Mother and Me. Some dreams agree and some do not. Some so frightening and nightmarish. Some dreams agree, these I cherish. This dream agrees. My human face seems out of place. Insights explore my inner core. For half the night I'm face of light. At last I stand. Not paralyzed, seeing you there. Your mater arms, blue sea hold me in sunlight rain. Blood circles brain, particles wave to alchemy like Darwin's tree. Branch relating, quantum dots cling. All living things, nature, physics, religiously imagining. Such artistry, visionary, this my painting. Dream agreeing, my mother and me.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very colorful. I don't know if you've ever seen her art. It's tremendous. If you're able to ever see it in her home, it's like a museum, an art museum. It is just fantastic. She has some on display also in Santa Fe, I believe. And so we have now, next is Ron Cohen from the Star Company Coffee and Cafe. Ron Cohen, is he here? Or is he in the kitchen? Ron, here we go. Okay, let's hear it for Ron. While Ron is coming up, I'm going to read a very short poem while he's getting ready. And so, as the drops of rain fell down my cheek, it was nature's way of telling me it is okay to be weak. And I am loved all the more for what I feel now, for this world and what's in store. Just waiting to be the right time, just waiting for all of us to get in line to receive. I've seen the flowers open their blooms. I've seen the darkness as intensely it looms. And I've seen the contrast of good and bad. And I know I can be happy just as I can be sad. And it's all up to me as to how I'll be when I open myself to receive. And the cat that's in the cradle and the silver spoon all have dual meanings, as does the rune. When I pick the stone and it speaks to me, I don't have to look hard for an image to see. And this stone has a message as deep as can be, if only I'll be open to receive. Reaching high and reaching low, and in between the stages is a stage, you know, where we explore all kinds of things and abruptly be interrupted when a telephone rings. All can take us places we may or may not want to go, and lead us to the crossroads on the map with two roads marked yes and no. What makes it much easier in life, some believe, is that we choose to open our hearts with love, and in that way, all that enters is only well-wished blessings to receive. Thank you. And then we'll welcome Mark. Are you going to hear?
No, stand. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Well, this is an honor to be here. I'm fairly new to the whole open mic thing. I only started coming, playing open mics a year and a half ago, and started writing songs, and then I walked into an open mic, poetry open mic in Georgetown, and discovered the poetry world. So since February, I've been hosting this open mic in Round Rock, and I think it's the only one there. I mean, I will talk to people like, Round Rock's got an open mic. So I found that I've been playing all these open mics in Austin and South Austin and West Austin and North and all this great poetry and this stuff that I just wonderful ideas and free my mind and politics and religion. And I go back to Williamson County and it's redneck city. It's like, that's my challenge now that I'm hosting up there, is to help educate those guys. So this open mic's at the Star Coffee every Tuesday night. And what I do is I try to encourage people, come on, just do your originals or just have fun. You don't want it to be perfect. And we have poetry and comedy and music. And well, you've been there, Louise. And,
yes.
So what I do is when I start the show, I just get up there and I just start singing. There's a monster living underground. We put it there, that's right. And soon it will rise up and be your dinner for tonight. And other scary creatures coming, we created too. They won't eat you, but you'll eat them. We call it Frankenfood. They serve it at McDonald's, KFC, and Taco Hell. Eat just fast food for 1 whole month, and you won't feel so well. We put fish genes in tomatoes and spray beef juice on French fries, and you will grow up way too fat and trapped by monster thighs. Come into our laboratory, see what we're up to. Hold on your pants, we'll scare them off. We're cooking Frankenfood. We don't know the effects that all our tinkering will do. You just might grow another toe and it will be bright blue. The chickens are so big, it's steroids they are on. They could hit more home runs than that juiced up Barry Bonds. Come into our laboratory, taste our witches stew. Hold on your pants, we'll scare them off. We're making Frankenfood. We make the cows eat ground up cows. We do all this with ease. We like the ghostly stories of how now mad cow disease. We fertilize your vegetables with human sewage waste. E. coli's just an evil word. Our poop adds to the taste. Come into our laboratory, sip our toilet brew. Hold on your pants, we'll scare them off. We're fixing Frankenfood. Of all the nation's food supply, it's 90% we are owning. And now we're making Frankensheep, thanks to science cloning. We are Monsanto, FDA, Baxter, Wendy's, Merck. Don't ask what's in the food you eat, our feelings might get hurt. Come into our laboratory, this is all for you. Hold on your pants, we'll scare them off. You're eating Frankenfood. Oh. That's how I educate Williamson County, yeah. But I like to leave them laughing. And I like to leave them with a redneck style song. So I'm going to play one for you. at Star Coffee every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. Downtown Round Rock. And you say, Round Rock is a downtown? Yeah, it's a tiny little place. It's down there. And then I'm done. Just one more little song here. I'll tell you, all the stuff I've been hearing here is just so magnificent. Thank you very much for letting me be part of this. Oh, the wrong page. Be in the right key. And you can hear all my songs on my website here, reverbnation.com/Ron. Yeah, I go to the one in Georgetown, second, fourth Friday. Tea and Friday coffee around the square. I go to New World Deli, fourth Thursday. And I go to New World Deli on Mondays. That's the music one. I've been to Fair Bean. Thom opened up my whole world here, so thank you so much. So yeah, I try to break it to these guys gently up there in Williamson County with songs like this. And that last one. Yeah.
Donations for your bail.
Those French fries ain't from France, German chocolate cake it ain't, and jumbo shrimp is certainly misleading. CEOs will cry and wail when the business they run fails, but it's not them, it's us who does the bleeding. That grass that grows, it sure ain't from Kentucky. It came from Central Asia and it ain't blue. We used to think our nation was just Turkey, but your government's not interested in you. Our politicians say they want to help us. To feed the poor, they ask us for more money. You bet they take their share and become all millionaires. We're starving while they're eating milk and honey. That grass that grows, it sure ain't from Kentucky. It came from Central Asia and it ain't blue. We used to think our nation was just Turkey, but your government's not interested in you. You'd think we learned a thing or two from history and our past, and not keep voting in that rotten bunch. They're lying through their teeth, and we give them our belief, while they eat steak and we get crumbs for lunch. That grass that grows, it sure ain't from Kentucky. It came from Central Asia and it ain't blue. Oh, we used to think our nation was just Turkey, but your government's not interested in you. But your government's not interested in you.
Thank you so much, Ron. That is great. That was great. Little rejection of truth. Yeah. Okay, so we have with us Ajari.
He's out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Stephanie, if you want to trade, and then we'll get Ajari. Okay. We have with us Stephanie Morrissey, and you can explain where it is that she was hosting Rudamias for a while, and so I don't know what venue, and I just need to let you know, or I choose to let you know, that we have had 17 venues. We have 17 venues represented here tonight. So there's no shortage of places to go in Austin or Salado or Round Rock, Dripping Springs. So it's Austin, the surrounding area, and even all the way out to Salado. So 17 venues, that's pretty good, huh? Thank you, Thom. been kind of coordinating all that. Thank you. And Stephanie Morrison.
I started the drops over here.
Oh, thank you. I'm not giving All right, not to take up too much time, but first off, I'd like to let everybody know that that Rutamaya Cafe Express is going to be closing, from what I understand, according to Paulina, at the end of July. They changed their hours where they're closing every day at 3 o'clock. The other trailers in the trailer park were not happy with us performing there. They didn't like, I'm not sure, they complained about parking, they complained about things that were happening at the other open mic, that was happening at my open mic as well. That they didn't have a problem with that open mic, like drinking, for example, which it's BYOB, it's completely acceptable. The other room open mic, they openly handed out alcohol. For whatever reason, it wasn't allowed at mine. So because we made all of the other trailers upset, they didn't want us there, I have decided to pull the plug. Paulina's going to be closing in July at the end of this month anyways. She told me I was welcome to continue the open mic, but I have a feeling the other trailers would have continued to harass us until we all left. Because as a couple of the poets that are here this evening are aware, they were harassing us before we decided to pull the plug. So it was my decision. You know, Paulina told me she wasn't even be open, so it wouldn't be representing Rutamaya anyways. It would just be like a random floating thing. So I do not have an open mic right now. I did talk with Melanie Rose. Her and I would like to maybe co-collaborate after the summer and finding another place in South Austin to represent an open mic. It is a little overwhelming with both her and I being single parents, so of little children. So, well, her son's much younger than mine. But never fear, hopefully we'll open something else soon. So sorry about the bad news, guys, but I thought
You know it, girl.
Thanks. Also, today's my birthday, guys. What we decided? Oh, I'm 25 again today. That's what we decided. All right. I'm going to read some new material and then I'll finish with an old one. As he dives into the bottle again, Swan dives down the neck of a gentleman's friend, Jack as he is called sometimes. He hits the caramel brown liquid with a loud splash. As he embraces the sweet nectar on his lips, he begins to drown on the poisonous drink. Sinking in the ocean of bad choices, he grasps for a hand to save him, tries to force his own head above the liquid, but it consumes him once again. His quiet, precious repose cut short by the rapture of a drinkable death certificate. Thank you. These three are all about the same person. And around on a roller coaster I go again. Up and down, twists and turns, spirals, and fast, free-falling drops that plummet you into a whirling, twirling, snake coil maze of emotions that make me want to run as far away from you as I can. And then, from the back of my mind, I hear that song by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I hate myself for loving you. Can't break free from the things that you do. And I'm reminded of how weak you make me feel when I hear the smoky raspiness of your voice. When you glide your hand softly over my arm. When I go in for an embrace and your lips land softly on my neck. As you whisper sweet, soft promises that I'm not sure will ever be kept. I worry like a fly being invited by a spider to come over for dinner. Because your web seems so inviting. Yet I know the dangers that may lie ahead. Thank you. Put this one and one more and then I'll leave it. In 3 short weeks, ashes have turned to dust. The sun is set on this lazy town, maybe never to be seen again. In this ruin, the rubble laying scattered about us all in pieces. As I look about me, I see the ruins of what could have been a fairy tale. Made in movies, stories told that are supposed to have happy endings. But this is not a fairy tale. The reality Snow White tried to convince us of is only a tale for this 2-bit scene. Thank you.
Thank you.
That last one I just heard, I haven't heard that one yet.
Stephanie. Yeah, and I wish you really a lot of success, and I know this new place, you're creating the space now, so that's great. That's great. Sorry, I lost my little list here. So now we welcome someone from the surrounding area, a little outside. It's way west of Austin, Texas. She hosts the Thirsty Thursdays, which is the third Thursday of the month, and it's Nancy Firestein. So let's give a hand for Nancy if she comes up. Yeehaw. And she can tell you the poetry the contest that she's won here lately and the things that she's appeared as. Great. It's great.
So much for the prepared speech I had tonight. No, I'm really glad to be here. This is a wonderful turnout, and it's wonderful to see hear from all the different venues. I gotta say, Austin inspired me to get the one going out in Dripping Springs. It'll be 6 years old in September. My sense of community stretches from Dripping to Austin to Salado and points beyond. Some valuable time I've spent with folks like you. So tonight I thought I would share a few poems that kind of stretch from that range. I'll start with the newest publication, of course, the Mermaid Tales from Salado. I have two poems in here, one of which I believe I've shared at this venue before. That one's titled, Me, a Mermaid? Maybe not. But there's another one in here that I don't think I've shared, and so let's go with some fresh copy. It's titled, And So the Tale Ends, My Friends. Please, show me a cat who is not inclined to marvel at mermaids, to want to unwind every tight ball of yarn spun on earth or at sea. If you find such a cat, what a rare one he'd be. Now show me a mermaid who isn't afraid of the cats on the beach who in hunger have strayed from the comforts of home. Oh, that look in their eyes is a threatening one. It's a mermaid's demise.
That is good.
Dipping into the Austin scene, I picked a poem that was written in October, about the same time, well, that week that we lost a valued Austin poet, Deb Akers. I had booked my flight to Michigan that week that she passed away, and so I had her in mind when this poem was written. It's called A Perfect Slice of Morning Sky. A perfect slice of morning sky proves all of my hopes too can fly. I'm raised on wings, I cut through clouds. The sunrise sings, grief's not loud, where angels offer TLC to all who will accompany them through the whitest, brightest rays, straight into heaven's finest praise. I did not wish for sun-filled skies. I much prefer the haze, low-lying fog, and autumn trees. They simulate a blaze without the smoke and ash despair that swallowed Texas trees. I'd walk with her through acres and miles of clouded days like these, if only I could, if only she would, if only the cure was a breeze. That Thirsty Thursday venue of mine usually includes a featured performer and an open mic theme. One thing I like about the theme is I don't call the shots. People who participate are asked to submit their name and a suggested theme. We have a door prize drawing every month. And I believe it was Thom again who won when he suggested Sun, Moon, and Stars. For the past month. This month, July's theme will be Independence, and we meet on the 18th at 7 o'clock. Make note of that. Those of you who haven't been there yet, you need to come. You definitely need to come. It's one of three things, good things happening poetry-wise out in Dripping Springs. Anyah's venue is also highly recommended. And we have a poet out there named Doyle Fellers who, in summer, he's up in Michigan. He's not available to share with us then, but he also has a quarterly group that meets. The Poets and Lyricists Society meets in different people's homes and shares poetry. So good things are happening out there in Dripping, and I want to keep encouraging that.
Yeah.
And I will end with this poem written for last month's Thursday venue when the theme was Sun, Moon, and Stars. Are you listening? Tonight, the sunlit western sky has something true to say to each discerning open eye. I hope you'll look that way. And if the day's events have been too cumbersome to bear, may haloed moons and many stars reduce the wear and tear you feel when daylight rips to shred the dreams that don't come true. Let sunsets, pardon me, let sunsets, blues and pinks and reds burst brightly into view to kindle new dreams. Make your soul the cornerstone of bliss. Each gift of light that's heaven sent ends darkness with a kiss, which lands on tear-stained cheeks and tries to imitate the rain. A candle lit with you in mind can also ease the pain of living under clouded skies. It's just another day. And yet, tonight, the sunlit sky has something true to say. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Nancy. She's been published in many different contests and won in the anthologies, and so it's a delight to have Nancy out here and all of you. I'm still really very excited that we've had all these venues here. Now this is something very special that we have in Austin. I don't know if any of you are interested in storytelling, you know. I know that some of us have been accused in our life of maybe telling a story once in a while. But I mean, it's, you know, it's a thing in our makeup. So anyway, we have Ralph Hauser, and he's with Share Your Stories, and he will tell you where his venue is. Thank you, Ralph.
Thanks a lot. We're probably one of the few places that, from what I've heard tonight, that actually meets in a library. It was actually started at the Twin Oaks Library. In fact, I see a couple of people here tonight that are part of the group. And we have an unfortunate time because of the library hours, which is we meet on Fridays, or the third Friday of each month at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'll go to 3. So if you can come, one good advantage that we can give you is we can give you lots of time to tell your story and to read your story if you've got something longer. Because generally we have 5 to 6 people, and that means that each person gets at least about 20 minutes to go into their piece. I'm trying to start another venue right now. It's in development. I got really turned on by a program that I heard out of New York called Story Slam from the Moth, which is a really fabulous group of people in Manhattan, isn't it?
Started there.
Pardon?
It began in Manhattan.
Yeah. Actually, though, Story Slam now is all over the country, and it's grown to the point where you've got state people who are doing things state by state and starting story slams. But one of the things is that finding a venue, as always, Scott brought some things to mind when he was talking about the community. how do we get ourselves together as a group to start making things known that we want to do or are doing? How do we get the word out to a larger group of people to come and hear our stories? So that's something that's also on my mind as I try to work out what we're going to do. Because I think that we've got various kinds of audiences and various kinds of storytellers in town. We did have an Austin Slam going for a while. They met at Betsy's Bar on 6th Street near Waterloo. Right away you know that you're going to have a different crowd at a place like Betsy's Bar than you're going to have at the library. So, but somehow we all need to find a way to bring ourselves together and work with each other to bring the whole art along as we go. Okay, I'm kind of rambling here, but it's just part of the set of ideas that I'm trying to work out. Let me read a quick little thing and then I'll get off. Sunsuit. Sometimes you'll remember yourself in a blue and white sunsuit, skinny, hairless body, a childhood full of near misses, as though you couldn't make up your mind whether death by drowning or under the wheels of a car or falling out of the tree was a better way to go to heaven. What a miracle to reach an age where a cashier with an attitude assumes you want a senior ticket for the matinee. You find yourself in a cubicle and sense that's as far as you're going. You drag your feet to slow things down exactly the way Buffy St. Marie once said you would. But the carousel just keeps going faster, and you know you're going to be tossed off one day, gently or not. Stop. Go back in time. It's hazy, but it's all there. The red tricycle, the bruise on your forehead where the bark proved it was tougher. That blooming, buzzing time of being 3, when you were allowed to be as goofy as you wanted. You could run around with your fly open because no one looked to you to be more than a sweet little klutz. The family dog on 2 feet. All the expectations still to come. One last time to stare at people in restaurants or cry when you got hurt or scared. It's all still there, and you may have it back. Maybe not out in the world, but in your own home, you can pull down the shades, dish up a treat, grab some toys, and play. Just play. And should you be caught in the act, call it regression therapy. Recreation of the pre-adolescent cognitive state. Who knows better? And the person who catches you might like some regression therapy as well. Just be sure there's enough ice cream for both of you.
Thank you, Ralph. You said something. What was the that you said, Ralph?
She's asking you a question.
What is it? It's something that you said. It's easy to love. Just let it happen. Is that what you said?
I'm sorry?
It's easy to love. Just let it happen.
Oh, it's let me see. Oh, that was another poem.
Yeah, but is that what you said?
No, that was the one about if you want to find the Buddha.
Yeah, but
just
I mean
touch
that one.
a lover's arm.
Yeah, that one little phrase that you used in there, though. It's easy to love. Just let it happen, or something like that. Anyway, never mind. Okay, thank you, Ralph. All right, so I loved. I have a lot of stories, but I've never done the story things, and I keep trying to make your event. You keep trying to make it out there, and we'll let it happen one of these days here. Okay, and we have Ajari, A-J-A-R-I, I believe, and he's with Counterculture Cafe, and I think this is kind of a new event, a new venue for us. So let's welcome Ajari. Thank you.
Justice for people 6 feet and above.
You could just pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, that's why I like to be around more experienced people. My dad always makes fun of me because little things like that I kind of struggle with. Like, son, I think you're smart, but you just don't have a lot of common sense. My name is Ajari. I host Counterculture Cafe. This is a relatively new event. It's on the east side. Come out to the east side while it's still there. Because the developers are pretty much, they're on the warpath right now to pretty much disintegrate the culture on the east side. But Counterculture is a really nice little venue nestled almost to the very end of Cesar Chavez, and the cross street is Clara. I'm relatively new to Austin, but I really fell in love with that venue. It's a really quaint little coffee shop close to where Hot Mama's is, kind of a block away on the other street, probably adjacent to 6th Street. But anyway, my goal with the Counterculture Cafe is to preserve the literary art form of poetry. It's not a slam venue, nothing against slam, but I really like the more literary aspects of poetry. I've been doing poetry for a little bit over 20 years, 21 years, and may not look it, but I am. Yeah, no, I'm 22. But anyway, so like I said, my goal is to bring together multiple generations of poets. That's my objective with the venue. This will be our 4th reading. If you want to know more details about it, Thom's been there since day one. This week will only be the 4th show, so it's really in its infant stages. Kind of, Ralph, along the lines of what you're saying about a venue to kind of bring everyone together. That's the goal with Counterculture. The owner, she's supportive of the event. At first, she wasn't skeptical at all. She didn't even blink. When I proposed the idea, she said, "Let's just do it. Give me the date." So that means it was meant to happen. So that's the easiest sell I've ever done. Pretty much go in and have some coffee. Just give me the date. Perfect. So with that said, I'm going to do a piece right now just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from with the spoken word. Let's see. I'll get into a piece called The Wall of Time. Let's see. Until sleep slumbers, darkness will fade and I will not be afraid of the loneliness. While walking in the shadow of the infinite, I realize my voice is often unheard, as if an echo attempting to define sound. Patience stalks the dreamer. I'm dreaming of walking in the realm where angels dream. At midnight, the clouds sleep. The wind releases its anger, tormenting the twilight. Darkness becomes consumed by the light, even though darkness is the original light. I'm amazed by a maze of blue light which illuminates dark shadows, intrigued by the imagery of the sea, oceans of thought. Although we are worlds apart, time stands still for both of us. Limitless streams hypnotize. As the orange moon turns to tide yellow, we appear eternal in triple darkness, illuminated. I'm isolated inside of my own thoughts, attempting to think my way out of an empty box. Meanwhile, death has a chokehold on my last breath. I'm depending on my pen to find the place where infinity ends. Where infinity ends, my story begins to unfold, and as the drama in this life unfolds, I will not fold under the pressure. If who a man was yesterday and who he is today are entirely different, who he will become is irrelevant. Regardless of who you are, whatever road you travel in this life will lead you to the same destination, death. If in this life, all one has known as bondage, one should conclude that in death there's liberation. It's sad when the oppressed become the oppressors, when the repressed become the aggressors. And I realize if my heart turns cold and I die a bitter man, I will have accomplished nothing. Now, I don't know everything. However, I know everything I need to know. I walk those winding stairs, which appear to have no end in sight, attempting to find the origin of the light. The all-seeing eye is blind, as is justice. That is why so many injustices occur, because in this life, there are no answers, only choices. And those who study evil are studied by evil. And those who say trust no one, because no one can be trusted, are usually the ones who can't be trusted. Today, the mothers and fathers of civilization appear to be so uncivilized, while the truly uncivilized carefully plot our demise. But like Sirius, arise. I use the morning star as my guide. At night I look to the east. The evening star brings me inner peace. I used to think the gift of poetry was a curse until I finally figured it out. The gift of poetry is not a curse, this world is just cursed. And although I have fallen, I will rise again. I'm trying to overcome the cruel hand of fate. Deception is a prisoner of its own twisted desire. The wall of time appears as an iron curtain, a thorn deliberately placed inside of a delicate flower. Genius is hidden inside of dreamlike imagery. Although dreams are said to be meaningless abstractions, they're actually omens. I'm using my pen to transform pain into beauty. The true miracle in this life is breathing. I want to one day become one with two ideas, perseverance and determination. I know that one day this physical form will die. However, my words will live forever. With my words, I want you to feel me, literally as well as literarily. Because to hold something is not necessarily to hold what is actually there. Never is longer than forever. The apparent sunset, driven to extinction. They say time heals all wounds. What about the wounds inflicted upon us by time? Constantly waiting for a non-existent second. The desire to be free begins by questioning. In a society obsessed with materialism, the only true freedom you have is in your mind. Chasing dreams which shine. Mirrors, moonbeams, distant star, an elusive stare, cracks in the pavement, the light underneath the old wooden door, blinds, the blinds contrast, blinding illumination. I want my heartbeat to beat in unison with stars. I yearn to walk in the rain without a care in the world. And yet worlds are created and destroyed in less than the amount of time it takes to blink an eye. I want my light to shine for forever, or for as long as forever presents itself to me. And if I'm fortunate, it will be infinitely. I want to bond my chi with infinity. Most can't comprehend the complexity of my complexion. And what I have learned in this life is to learn from your mistakes. Don't be defined by them. I'm not afraid of dying before my time. I'm more afraid of dying before I shine. The wall of time. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajari. Let's give one more hand. Okay, we are kind of on the cusp of having the break, and I'm just so excited because everybody's been very collaborating with me tonight so that we can coordinate this and get everybody in. So we have with us tonight, Happy Jack is not here, but Michele of the Rainbow Tribe is here, and she's going to share with us and tell about the event. And we used to have Happy Jacks and meet over there. I think that was one of the first documentary footage that I took was over at Happy Jack's when they had it actually, you know, out in the wooded area and stuff. So.
I thought I saw Happy Jack in the back.
Is Happy Jack here?
No, he's Magic Jack.
Oh, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I was like, uh-oh, well, Happy and Magic. Well, he's here in another form. Okay, Melanie. I mean, wait, it's Michele. Oh, boy, you now see. Happy Jack, Magic Jack, Michele, and Melanie. Michele of the Rainbow Tribe. Thank you, Michele. Yes.
So one thing I can tell you about the rainbow is we share. I made my first travel to the gathering in 1976. And this is how I mostly spend my time. Barefoot. Under the trees. And if you actually have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Otherwise, I'll just get on with it. And I call this the tree. He can probably over and over again forgive more than I can ever forgive. And yet myself? Mother, what attribute did I put on the shelf? Who's yesterday? Is it tomorrow? Tra-la-la, you say. Today is today. There is peace and goodwill coming from the tree. Morning is the mockingbird's trill. Root and rock foundation, anchored deep. The many branches reach towards and love's embrace. Oh la la, today is today. Emotions so swift, bank your fires, there's an energy adrift. Sweet the trill of love's sound, and salutations for Mother Earth, and the divine receives each other's embrace. Today is today.
Mm-hmm.
What can resonate more deeply than soul's universe? Everything's trivial compared to this. The tears from the soil, the branches lift towards a greater light we know from within exists. Today is today. Oh, mockingbird's trill, she sings to me. And another short one, if you don't mind, that is for you. Called A Touch of Just Right. My ears aren't just mine, because I gotta hear for sure a lot of things. Did you hear that? Well, I didn't hear everything, so treat it as such. I heard your poems, your sonnets, often stretched lazily underneath my eyes, like sun rippling reflections of light off water, you know, with your eyes closed, rocking back and forth in, oh, that embrace. Long, gentle journeys with a touch of just right. Musical foreplay, background to the crashing of your waves of ancestral stories and personal pain, coaxing gently with a touch of just right, soothing the tears back to themselves again, you and your poems with a touch of just right.
And thank you, Michele.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to end this section with a poem, and then we're going to have Hyote up here. He'll close this session. Then we'll go and have a break, and then Hyote will come back and open up the next section, and that'll be the round robin. So everybody give yourself a hand for making it through the 17 minutes. That's a magical number, isn't it? 17, Jupiter, good luck, prosperity, yeah. Okay. Someone mentioned the word religion the other day, and I thought, oh gosh, what kind of a new word can we give religion? Well, religion is action. If you want to belong, join something that makes you active. Active in engaging in life, active in engaging in empowering others, active in engaging to be an instrument of goodwill toward humanity, active in empowering others to be the best they can be. Active in loving something greater than you love your destructive tendency to destroy yourself. Active in creating beauty that has not been created before. Active in seeing things in a different perspective, so much so that no one recognized the original after you've described it and gone beyond the limits of the edge that was the comfort zone. Active in being in the present as an observer, and where there is no future and certainly no past. Active in choosing your words that create the world you desire to manifest here and now. Active in creating exactly the image you wish the universe to fulfill. Active in creating the morphic field you wish to nurture you and others. Active in noticing what needs balancing and choosing the process that works best for you and others to move forward with success. Active in adapting and adjusting to your new surroundings you created for your new stage of evolutionary, holistic growth. Active in believing that life is worth getting up every day with the absolute knowing that life is new every day and that it can only get better from here. Active in knowing that you can get on with life, and active in deciding when enough is enough, and that this is the end of this poetry session. Thank you very much. And so we ask Hyote to come up and end with music. So thank you all, and we'll take a break. We'll come back with round robin. Thank you, thank you.
mic. Stay. All right. Someone is trying to spoil my day, cursing the good luck that comes my way. I was sorely tempted to stoop to her games, gossiping and threatening and calling out names. But I have a plan, and it includes you. Let's take a stand and love the day through. Let's love the day through and into the night. Let's show them what's fair. Let's show them how to fight. I have a plan. Teardrops were forming at the edge of my heart. Terror and rage were tearing me apart. I forgot to eat. I forgot to sleep. I forgot the joy in my soul so deep. But I have a plan, and it includes you. Let's take a stand and love the day through. Yeah, I have a plan. Well, I was woke this morning by some overdue bills. Turned off my blanket, I was overcome by chills. I was right on time, but then my car wouldn't go. I started calling everybody that I know, singing, I have a plan, and it includes you. Let's take a stand and love the day through. Yeah, I have a plan. Well, I walked into the courtroom, I was feeling mighty small. In walks the judge, he was 10 feet tall. What were you thinking? He says to me, trying to live your life so free. But I told him, Judge, come on now, I have a plan, and it includes you. Let's take a stand and love the day through. Yeah, let's love the day through and into the night. Let's show them what's fair. Let's show them how to fight. I have a plan.
Have the break in there in the kitchen, and then you can come back for round robin.
Hey, Ron.
17 minutes, 17.
Professor Wizard hat.
Yes, oh yes. Yeah, I'll have to reread. Poetry Practice Designs. I read all of them.
You've seen all of them now.
Oh yeah.
What is that poetry bus? It's great. He's a great guy.
They do some, because I can tell the same poem. I've been on 4 times. It's just wonderful. It's been on 320, 3. The other night, the chorus that I got interject.
Turn to the other and it's all around. That's the storyteller in all of us, man.
What we can do, we probably ought to get our committee together and find out for the day. I need to find out in advance if they know what bus we'll be on, and we'll try to do that. Yeah, okay, I'll call.
Yeah, okay. As long as I'll be able to leave the house. I haven't done anything for a little while. I'm going to be kind of stuck there. Yeah. That would be great. But, I love your voice. It's amazing.
Well, we're going to eat and come back.
Oh, it's a break and then we have break. Oh. How long is the break? Probably about 15 minutes. I think there's time for people to eat.
When I heard that sounds like something I want to check out.
Yeah, if you left, I was honoring all the venues before me, and so when there would be a lull, then I would sneak mine in. So you really had to have been here. And that was 17. 17 venues, that's great.
Oh dear.
17 venues were able to speak tonight. That's amazing. No, we had some that didn't come and some that came. Yeah. But anyway, now August the 10th is on Saturday night. I don't know if you're into Peggy right? There's four of us giving a concert called Peace Wave. And I'm in the process of arranging for the Buddhist monks to open it. And it's at the Dorothy Arts Center. Yeah, and so it'll be the first of the Peace Wave happenings. Yeah, oh, it's amazing. Yeah. So anyway, August the 10th on a Saturday, 7 to 10. And it's a sit-down theater.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done shows there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Do you? Back roads from my house.
See, it didn't make sense that people in the kitchen
Are you going to be? Oh, yeah.
I said, let it go on. Let it go, and then Patricia goes, I know. Wasn't that nice? Yeah, that's why she said, oh, I love that drum, I love that drum. Well, where is? Oh, here it is. Yeah, but I don't know if I'm ready. I think I'm just about trying to,
I did the Dark and Stormy Vision.
So you're going to do that?
Well, no, something else. We've got a bit of work to do.
This one always goes out.
Maybe in the string.
It's a brand new guitar.
You know what I'd like to see? A guitar with a tuner built into it. You just turn it on, strum it, and it's tuned.
And let it go. You know, it makes that little creaky sound where it starts adjusting all the strings.
Well, yeah, you can do that. Oh, so you can continue.
The third one, I still haven't measured that. But I did incorporate it. I'm not going to do it. What, this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's all trying to plug switches.
I can't do it because I don't know that I can't translate. I mean, I can do two, but.
You look as if you're shipping out.
No, not yet. I hate to bother you guys.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
Okay. Channel 11 is only a 28-minute show. I did not have permission from the three students.
Step out of line.
The station, so the station requires that I have a release. I didn't have that. I only created this as an extended version. So what you're seeing, parts of it is on there, not the three students. And then I added more music on this one. So you have Steve Brooks, you have Thom, and then you have Gordon. You know, that little chant Eddie Light, you know, that's on chant music. And then you have at least one, it was only the poetry that was mermaid. I'm not even in the poetry section because I didn't film myself. And so I sing, but there are, I list the people that are not on there but included in the anthology, in the credits. poetry students, Patsy Sanford, you'll see it at the end, and at the first I have some photographs. Now the quality of this is for the TV station, and they require us to do it in this gosh awful iPhone version, stuff like that, because they want it through streaming, and so it's for any TV. A lot of people have these big screen TVs, so when you play it on a regular TV, and if it's big screen, it's going to stretch everything wide. So what was normal is going to be twice as wide. And the quality may not be what you think it is, but if you watch it on a computer or if you watch it on a smaller TV, the quality is going to be fine. But it's what the TV requires us to do.
Well, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, it's very sweet, and I put on there no frills, candid documentary, because I didn't do any of this zip zap. I just don't, it's like this. I'm that poet, and that's it. Because I didn't have two cameras going, and I'm not. It's a lot of editing, whatever you try to do. I hope you like it.
Oh, I know I will.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But I thought, well, if anybody asks, at which point, could have a copy of this on so much fun. And we see we'll get you.
Right. Well, if they get this copy, they'll have more. It's the same thing that will be aired because I have Osmic City, Austin, Texas, TD, Channel 11, all that other stuff. It's what would air.
Okay.
On it, except for it's got more, and I put on there extended version. I think I did. That's okay. That's okay. But it would be. And it's.
Oh,
Before next
yes.
week.
It's something that you might be able to give on the internet, like on YouTube or something like that. We can put together a very short, like it's only a minute that usually is a promo or something like that. And that's pretty easy to put together. It's to promote the book and your fundraising. I did that. It mentions it, and you'll see what it is. It's whenever you open your book, you give an explanation about 20 sentences. That's all. I typed that in there. So people know what the project is about. And then at the end, it gives your contact and the website, and it lists all the people who published the book and stuff. So it should be a helpful tool.
I think so. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
The concept is so simple. And of course,
I don't even know what, that's what the Brazilian lady was.
30 or 40 years.
She gave me these. She said, just hear something. The one that I have trouble with is
It's a long time since I've played the violin, really. I do well. My fingers just learn where to go.
There's a glow.
Yeah, without looking.
Muscle memory.
This one right here is pretty good. Nobody is here. It's a peace song.
I know you. What do you need me to
I started working on it, and I got
What
it
do you
in a
need me to
magazine,
share
and
about
I'm
this
working
art
on
sky?
that, and I was going to try to print.
Haven't heard or couldn't look up yet.
Well, my daughter. Yeah, so I go all the way down here, I grab it, somebody's talking on the phone about another event, and I'm acting like I know what the hell I'm, I can't.
57 when you were 56.
Tucson is picked up.
56. I picked up a double package, thinking it was the 56, 57. Black and
Observatory.
No.
They couldn't start using the observatory because Tucson put out so much street lights and other lights and headlights that they couldn't use the telescope. And, yeah, white pollution. And the solution was those billboards and everything else we see as a billboard. Like down here, choosing the billboard.
Some things that we, they're relatively
you put the light above the billboard, shine it down to the billboard, what goes into the ground down is 95% of all light pollution is eliminated just by making lights, changing the direction of them. And guess what? Less energy is used because you don't use as much light because it's all on the billboard going down to it. Well, it's spreading across the world. So I live out where I can actually count the stars. There's one time when I was planning on going out there and I went at night. There were so many damn stars that I couldn't even find the Big Dipper. You know, I mean, I've never not been able to find the Big Dipper. I couldn't see it. But of course, the Big Dipper was down like this. Even so, I know that's north. Where's the Big Dipper? I couldn't find it.
That's on one grand piano. Thanks, man. Thank you. It's my birthday.
Did you request that?
No, I didn't.
Very nice. I was drawn in because
He was playing all by himself when I first came in.
As soon as I heard that, I knew.
And you were drawn out, you knew. Tell me your name.
Brian, so everyone calls me Dex.
Dex.
It's one of many things that I do. That's what he always requests. Just play center, play some here.
Right.
Yeah, just sit down and follow. Okay, I kind of think I see some round robin its and round robin O's. O's and its. Okay, and so we're going to begin the round robin, and Hyote is going to bring it in with music, and then it's a round robin, so you just step up to the mic. So be on the edge of your seats, and let's do this. We can do this, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, it's
So one of the things I think is important about creating communities is staying in touch with people and keeping them around me. And, that's one of those technological things that Facebook has kind of been interesting about. One of the things I like about it for sure. And not just staying in touch with the people who are here now, but also the people passed on and remembering them and bringing them into our immortal present-day life community. And this is a song I wrote for my friend Banjo Jim, who passed away in 2003, way too early. So Banjo Jim is everywhere. Just gonna have to be a little more like you to make up for the loss. I'm gonna have to see a little more of you now that you're gone. You're everywhere. I love you and I need you. Not afraid to say how I want to, how I see you every single day. You're just gonna have to be a little more like you to make up for the loss. I'm gonna have to see a little more of you now that you're gone. You're everywhere. My brother, my partner, no matter where you are, we'll be traveling, we'll be singing in your hometown bar. I thought a lifetime would be such a long time, but it grows shorter every day. No more books from you, songs about the open road. Where will I find you today? Just gonna have to be a little more like you to make up for the loss. I'm gonna have to see a little more of you now that you're gone. You're everywhere. Always knew that I would see you again. Your laughing smile so filled with life. Now you're in my dreams and in the stories that I tell. And you sing with me tonight. I'm just gonna have to be a little more like you to make up for the loss. I'm gonna have to see a little more of you now that you're gone. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. Thanks. If you're on the mailing list, you want to know where else I'm playing. And also, I want to mention where, if you live in this area especially, I host a once a month kind of a house concert right across Manor Road on the It's called the Mueller Terrace apartment building right there. It's for 55 and older active adults, and I do mean active. And so I hope if you're interested, let me know, and I'll tell you when the next one is. Thanks.
Round robin, those that wanted to step on up and introduce yourself, please. The title of your poem.
Hi, my name is Joyce Collins. This is my first one.
First time.
Coming up from San Antonio. Some people I do remember from the Austin Festival in April. I'm known as the show and tell poet because I have visual representations of my poems. If we had enough time, I'd have everybody come up and take a look. But what I've got here, I don't know if you can see this, I've got a door. The left side of the poem is burned into. I found the door at Hobby Lobby, and I got the idea because it reminded me of this poem I'd written called In. And then I carved this side to match, and then burned in the words, so I'll read it to you. I never thought to live in my house, to renovate the rooms. I only sought to get out, to live in something new. 10 times I left, 10 times I built that house again the same. From breakfast nook to ceiling fan, from brick to window pane. In my rage, I tore it down, stripped it to the frame, and in the end, found myself out through a door that opened in. If you want to see more of my visualizations, go to truthtellerpub.com. All one word, truthtellerpub.com.
Thank you. Do you have another poem?
I thought we could only do one.
Well, just over because I know we talked about it.
Yeah, okay, I'll be right back.
If that's all right with people, they've got to drive back to San Antonio.
All right. Time served two, the gem of joy, each on mirrored plate. One did hurry to capture the prize, the other thought to wait. Death saw not, but refracted light, and at his plate did hiss. Life instead cast aside the rock and gazed into the face of bliss.
All right.
Jacob Brown, ambassador from another time. I thought tonight one of the great issues before us is the country is community, and Emerald Lazarus wrote one of the great poems about the American community. It's engraved on the base of the Statue of Liberty, and I thought this weekend would be a good time. And then I wrote a small poem in response. Statue of Liberty, not like the brazen giant of Greek fame with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuge of your teeming shore, send these the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp besides the golden door. That's what people read as they come into the New York Harbor. What my great-great-grandfather Henry Siebert read when he came in 1848 in one of the great German migrations. I've written this poem several years ago in response to that poem and the whole thing that we're talking about in immigration, called I Am an Immigrant Because I Am an American. Founded, welcomed, and built by immigrants, I benefit daily from their work and example. I am an immigrant because I am a believer, taught you are my brothers and sisters, therefore, especially, therefore, and now. I am an immigrant because, too, I have been poor, yearned to breathe free when almost homeless and tempest-tossed. I am an immigrant because I am a human being, only here temporarily.
I'm Linda, and I have a song, May I Breathe In and Out. May I breathe in and out your love. May I breathe in and out your peace. May I breathe in and out an awareness I'm not separate from you. My thoughts harass me, work harder, be better, do more, and I forget again who I am. May I breathe in and out your love. May I breathe in and out your peace. May I breathe in and out an awareness of my oneness with you. May I breathe in and out.
Mike D, do we have something on the?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Mike D, Mike D, Mike D, Mike D, Mike D, Mike D.
Yeah, this is kind of different.
Mike D is very from yours. Mike D is very photogenic, you guys.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I was somewhere else when I wrote this. And yeah, it's called Mother's Milk. Yeah. I once saw a mother breastfeeding an infant, and I was like, oh yeah, they're straight pimping, cause that baby is winning. Milk full of nutrients, with no antibiotics added, still flowing with that spark of life magic. Now look at what they're feeding the children. Food full of chemicals with no nutrition. Poisoning the minds, making it hard to concentrate. Bad grades in school, the math is hard to calculate. And they claim that cafeteria food is so healthy. Well, that's the news that they receive from the telly. The television is always lying. And they're especially lying about the food that rises the mind. Saying that apple juice don't contain arsenic, but I know better. Good juice being laced with whatever. Don't eat the fruit if it doesn't have seeds. Because if you do, you won't get the nutrition you need. I once bought a salmon that was bigger than my leg, but that meat was sort of brownish gray instead of red. Yes, it might grow faster and it might be cheaper, but it will send you on a fast track to the reaper. I once saw a kid who weighed over 90 pounds, and he was wolfing those Big Macs down. That child is going to grow up dead. What can I say that hasn't already been said? So before you buy the food, read the ingredients first, because it might seem all good, but it could be the worst. Some foods are not fit for human consumption. They will make you slowly lose your motor functions. The customers are being confused. Nothing but lies are being spoken. And it's the same thing that happened on the third omen. Ever since India passed the Freedom of Information Act, their government has no choice but to give them the facts. I wish they could do the same for us over here. And that's why the only drink I trust is beer. There's no use in crying over spilled milk. It probably has aspartame in it anyway. And everybody always grabbing about the government when we're just going to kill yourself anyway. From the preservatives in the meat, the starches and the sweets, slow suicide coming from everything I ate. Can you believe that last night I cried because I was hungry and I ate leftover Mickey D's French fries? So kids, you better eat your vegetables. Pretty soon, they will be the only foods edible. And whenever you plant a garden, please don't kill the weeds, because the weeds contain the medicines you need. A lot of people don't eat organic because it's expensive, but it's even more expensive spending time in intensive. And there's so many people losing sleep over Obamacare. If you ask me, I will tell you, I don't care, because it doesn't cover the preventive and holistic. So when it comes to my own health, I'll take care of myself. And I encourage you and your family to do the same. Or if you don't, there is no one else to blame.
Okay, we have Scott or Ralph. Oh, Ralph is up. All right. Hey, Ralph. All these revolutionaries. I know, isn't it expensive?
Your poem reminded me that for a while, a group of us were going to St. David's on Sunday afternoons and cooking sausage wraps for homeless people. And we used to feel pretty good about this because we thought, oh, we're giving a bunch of poor folks a meal. And then I read the ingredients of what those sausages are made out of. And another fellow said, you know, two things that you should never see made are sausage and those pork rinds that Bill Clinton used to eat. So yeah, I know where you're coming from on that. And it reminded me too about Cafe Autumn Sunday Morning. Swear to God, she had her hair in a beehive, and not that old either. Middle 40s, I would guess, unless the Botox really did its job for her. Ordered a short stack with sausage, side of cheesy grits, and no damn pumpkin latte, to use their own expression. A working woman's breakfast. Robert, hot for her the minute they exchanged good mornings, kept the cup full and the banter flowing, oblivious to the kids bouncing off the walls from way too many hits of syrup. Right in the middle of all this, in walks two guys. You just know they're bachelors from the looks they give the place. Baby Jessie starts to screeching at the worst time possible, and the Baxter twins are finding the floor more often than their faces. Poor lads, they never had a chance. Slipped back out past the waiting families while Robert joked about slopping the hogs and returning to Beehive Lady. Of course, you know the secret's out. No use for you to fuss and pout. We stuff and stuff the little dears till sugar's coming out their ears. Pancakes, waffles for the laddies, gravy and biscuits for their daddies. Sunday mornings an orgy Roman. Come back tomorrow, you'll feel more human.
I love William Blake. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if he's dead. I still love him. Whatever you like, let's do it. On the walls of the full English cafe,
where poets play. There's a poem by the famous William Blake. That's true. And it says in 8 feet tall letters, give me my bow of burning gold, meaning my arrows of desire. I want to take this world higher, and there it is for anyone to see who's got eyes. We live on one earth. Every night you count the stars, there's one missing. And some people count the clouds and rivers and mountains because they're counting Sesame Street. I say, we came from somewhere else, and one day we'll be going somewhere else anyway. We're all in transit these days. You know what I mean? Some people think we're in transit towards the end of the world, but I say because they haven't read the next chapter of the book that's not yet written. You need to be busy, Lydia, writing. The world is waiting for your memoirs, exciting. When the truth flies out like wild birds from all the past that you have heard, and suddenly someone's ear to the ground, listening, and they can hear wild buffaloes singing. They can hear the beat of butterfly wings. They can hear how raindrops sing. And this is just the beginning. Scott. So, we were at home, wherever that may be, and we got our stuff together. We packed our cars, put our guitars in, set up our cameras and our lipstick bags or whatever. We went and got in our car. One of us drove, one of us was a passenger, and we came up here to the Baha'i Center. And where do we go from here? We all go home into our beds, whether separate or otherwise, and we say, oh, what joy! We heard people play the jazz piano like nothing, and the bongos and the singing, and they read poems, and oh, it was so wonderful! And we go to sleep. Ah, there's the thrill. We wake up tomorrow to our coffee or our cigarettes, as the case may be, and say, oh, last night was so much fun. I was in a room full of people, and they all listened, and they all heard, and I read, and I read, and they heard, and I read, and it was synergistic, and it was wonderfully, sparks were flying everywhere in front of this thing and out of that thing and all over the place. Who should I tell about it? Everyone. Every face you see, every cash register clerk, every guy passing on the street, let it come out that I heard last night poets sing at Expressions, and it was so wonderful. Oh, it's so great to hear people sing and talk and listen, and oh, it was so much fun. Get up to Expressions next first Saturday. It was great. The more the merrier. Or the bus guy. Hey, nice day, how you doing? Listen to him, tell him. Great. Listening's cool. Speaking's cool. Oh, what fun. Tomorrow we get to wake up and we get to have our ears still sharp and we get to hear everything. The birds, the crickets, the sounds, everything. Oh, what fun. We go from here into our cars, we go home, we go to sleep, we wake up tomorrow, and the whole thing will seem so distant, but it really wasn't. Because tomorrow we may go to another open mic and get to do it again and again and again and again. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
17 times, I think. 17 times,
This is called Sometimes. It was written a long time ago, so I'm afraid it doesn't owe anything to tonight. It was written when somebody was demanding I read a poem, and I didn't want to. Sometimes there is a hush. It seems to extend to forever, but reality claims it's only a few heartbeats. It may be longer than necessary because of a strange reluctance, staring out at the faces, restless in the dim light. They move like the sea on a calm day, yet not so calm as to allow one to relax. There is a poem to share, if one dares, and yet it has been seen before. If you look around, you may find a copy on the floor. Now, I could read the words and know where they lead, but I cannot be sure anyone will follow. And then I have to take the blame if you get lost. So instead, I stand here and tear the poem word from word. Scatter the fragments like ashes and let you fend for yourselves. You have my words now. You can make of them what you will. The assembly may take some time, and while you are distracted, I can wander away and find somewhere quiet. Somewhere where there may be a few words left that are still mine. Some words that remember the joy of sunlight, that know how to dance in the breeze, but they are so hard to find. They've all been used and reused so many times. So it's time to close the eyes and forget wave upon wave of expectant faces, looking so much like the sea, quite unaware that I am seasick.
This idea for this poem came to me the other night on 4th of July. I'm a little embarrassed to read it, it's corny, but anyway, I call it my Yankee Doodle Dandy 4th of July popcorn poem. It's called The Reluctant Warrior, and it's a true story. The patriots of the early nation were a practical bunch. The many chores of making a life and living rendered marching off to war an odious but necessary chore. Defense of home and family was no theory inculcated by television fearmongers. Yet the pistol or the long gun was a tool, no more, for war or hunting only, not for fun. And for freedom's sake, all that was needed, hung above the door, was one. My great-great-great-grandfather, and then some generations, was a book and candle merchant in old Boston town. He knew little of militia and matters martial. Rather to supporting his wife and babes, he was partial. So when the British ships filled Boston Harbor and redcoats stormed the slopes of Bunker Hill, he seized the unfamiliar musket and with his ragtag comrades learned to kill. Then with General Washington he served, artillery captain and envoy he was named. He froze his toes at Valley Forge, and when General Cornwall yielded up his sword at Yorktown, doffed his continental blues for a shopkeeper's brown. I know little of this distant forebear, a signature on yellowed paper, a portrait dim on cracking canvas, but I know with certainty that like all reluctant warriors, this citizen soldier did not love war. One weapon, one bullet, one powder horn, one axe to hew wood and build a home, one horse or mule to plow the field and harvest in, one wagon to carry the family into town. That was supposed to be the stanza that in between stanzas. Anyway, all this a century before the light bulb, coal-fired factories and mass production. Far greater wars were yet to come, as was the age of genocide and global pollution. I imagined my forebear on this anniversary of our Day of Independence would ask of me. Equivocation was not an option then. For what did we fight and die? So that the country could be free to shape a higher destiny? Or drowning in a sea of troubles, let the ship of state founder and go down? Thank you.
This is called Rick the Perry is Really Scary. Documentation number 3. Kleptocracy Perry gives me the collywobbles. Ig big wig high muckamuck blubber of bubbles. That stylish harebrain humbugged everyone to oblivion by his slickerish shilly-shally chin waggering. Slapjack and ape, ignore, arrogance, dunce, glam galore, giving us all the itch-ick of mullygrubs and more. Hark! But who steps into the rink wearing of code pink? Wendy Davis saves the night and day, of women say. Perry's sniffian boots are no match for her shoes of truth. Deceivery, thievery, big-time misogyny, kleptocracy Perry exposed by democracy.
Again, I choose a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
Thanks for that one, Linda. I think I'm looking for ways to fit this into the community theme here. Maybe this will give you an expanded view of community. Not just a town, not just the building we're in. Think space, think the Hubble telescope. Thanks to the Hubble, here we sit gawking. Images from the Hubble burst the bubble of all doubt. Show us snippets of the heavens. Let its darkest secrets out. Help us journey to the regions we can't see with naked eyes. Give us glimpses of the glory kept for eons in the skies. Plant new seeds of faith within us as you study newborn stars. Leave us breathless, but revive us. Make us think of it as ours, all this beauty, how it echoes, even silently from space. Galaxies of gifts await us, humbly putting us in place.
Didn't get to go to the Thirsty Thursdays, for the stars and the galaxies, but I did write something. This is like if you were out in space and you were looking back and you're contemplating. So you're out in this expanse. As we look back from another horizon, more distant than the edge of the earth, we remember the sunrise in the morning and that it rested on the horizon, pulled back its fiery light so the quiet eve and stillness and billions of stars could be seen. The rain drips from the clouds as they dropped, giving themselves up to the dry land which willingly received. A day full of surprises, sparkles floating everywhere, for in every corner excitement was rising. As I watched the animals exercise caution to even the wind blowing a tree limb with rustling leaves. A day was a gift, experienced in many ways when we chose that. We saw the fruit of our planting days. We welcomed that fruitful task which we turned into play. We nurtured the earth when we learned how. We created new ways of being when we experienced they could happen. We made things better when we knew change was inevitable. And it was much more pleasant to go with the flow, this flow unadulterated by the masses, the flow that really moves us toward our purpose. We refined our own ways as we learned what worked and what did not, in a world built for weathering the refiner's fire. We played and worked, and time went by, sometimes slow, sometimes fleeting. Dreams were free, and in them we were free to fly, free to live out what we were afraid to, and what we called waking state, which was the dream we refused to accept. The stars glimmered and twinkled as if speaking with signals in secret code. From distant bays of stars, their signals transmitted, blinking on and off, flickering in multicolors, while posed in my chair I sat, squinting, as if to blink back a message to anyone or anything out there. Out the window I gazed as the stars were winking, blinking, and nodding. They looked down and witnessed as we were plodding through time and space, although we probably never knew it. Each of us leaving behind a human trace, our print already written, before we thought we made it, thinking we were the original author. We had traveled eons from the future to come back to visit, or to explore, or tap into this membrane sheath that was once our protection, sustained our collective thought, that brought about this experience of war and peace, of human love and its beauty or its distortions, all arranged in levels of perception. As the thought created contrast, duality, to manifest a model that could see our dynamism stretched to the limits, as we began to look each other in the eye, searching for truth, a sort of looking outside ourselves, and not knowing we created that being across from us, those eyes we gazed into to see our own truth, to see how we would respond or react. Sometimes it was a shock, sometimes a blessing. Nonetheless, a remembrance was made, was recorded in a brilliant diamond drop, multifaceted with precision care as we honed through our earth experience only an elegant universe could contrive for us to live out.
I've let time get away from me and my bus schedule. I should have left an hour ago and I forgot about it. So somebody's headed up to Far West. I need a ride, is what I'm really saying. Community. I love Leo Buscaglia's phrase when he was asked how old he was. He said, I'm 69, but there's a part of me that's 17, and some that's 37, and some that's 40, and some that's 50, and part of me is a wise, ancient, old man. Some of me is 3, and some of me is still unborn. So I'm really saying there's a community in me. Evergreen. 'Tis winter after the fall, and Brown County, Indiana, and Brown County, Texas really is brown. Nature calls to go within. Rest. Let the winds blow. The cold come. Tend inner fires. Repair the wear and tear of spring, summer, and fall. Go within again and again until you hear Mother Earth, until you live as she lives, resting into the rhythms of your body, your mind, and spirit. Hear the riddles of life and death until you are singing in tune with her. So many times I wanted more. I lusted to be over there. Where, you ask? Over there, where the green still grows. Really, you say? Oh, my response, I remember as I longed for the sweet, even more than I had, along with the green that was within me. That was the bitter I tasted. My green fruit, in early stages ripening in its time. So now I sit and weep, not for what never was, but to water the green in me, to feed the buds growing, and make way for the sunshine of you and the lightning of laughter while grateful for the ability to sit in the dark, letting the green grow, a mind alive, a body renewing, focused, family, friends, you, me, most of the time. Energized am I, ripe and evergreen.
It's 10 o'clock. Thank you everyone for coming.
I closed the one out there, I closed the one down here. Thank you all, thank you, thank you.
You would have loved that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.